It is finally time to do my end of the year makeup declutter, and this is part one of decluttering my entire makeup collection. We're starting off with complexion, so this means all of my foundations, primers, powders, concealers, and we are also ending it off on blushes, bronzers, and highlights. From creams to liquids to powders, we're going through everything. Doing this for a living, you kind of let things build up, but every year I like to just do a complete refresh. So join me while I take you guys along and show you kind of my thought process on this unnecessarily large collection. So grab a snack, get comfy, because this is going to be a long one, and I hope you guys enjoy part one. Hey guys, here we are. This is our complexion drawer. These are going to be all my powders, my primers, concealers, foundations, and then a bunch of random stuff back here that you can't quite see at this angle, but I will be pulling everything out for you guys to see. As you can tell, this is an incredible mess since the last time we visited this drawer together, and a lot of it just has to do with the fact that since I moved, a lot of things that were in other areas in the room, I just kind of chucked them into these drawers. You guys will kind of see that trend. As you can see, a lot of my go-tos that I still talk about are at the very top just because I've been using those, but there are a ton of foundations here that I've reviewed in the past that they just need to go. Before we get into it, I did want to address my nails. You guys, I did these myself. I did them for one of my best friend's weddings, and oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with them. They're kind of that glass nail, Japanese glass nail, cat eye type of thing, but the vibe I went for was a little bit more fall winter. So I went in with a brown base gel, and then I went on top with one of those silver magnetic polishes, and then I used a gel nail polish to go on top of that silver, and I used like a brown tone jelly nail polish, which is why we got that bronze look, and I am obsessed. I am so obsessed. I will put down below all the things that I used in order to get these. But anyways, let's get back into the declutter. So this time around, I am going to be doing I intend to do a massive declutter of a lot of these things because, as you guys know, I'm super acne prone. So I am on a mission to just get rid of the things that are old. There's a lot of things in here that I've held on to for reviews, for reference to reviews, because I like the products and I dip into them once in a while. But I'm just realizing that even though I like the products, if they've gone bad, then they've gone bad. There's really not much I can do about it. Just, I kind of regret it. Regret not using them more often. But we'll get into that. That's a lot to do with the foundations. I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll just start with the things right on top. So we're either going to be keeping the products, donating products, or disposing of products, depending on if they're still good to use or not. Starting with my Tier Cushion foundations. I did a video where I was comparing all of these different Tier cushion foundations, and truly, I like all of them, and to be quite honest, I want to keep them as reference as well. They're not old, they're fairly new in my collection, and these are incredible for oily skin. I am learning that you can actually go in with these, specifically the pink and red one, without powdering the face, and it actually lasts longer on the face that way. I'm not quite sure why, but someone in my comments told me to try it, and I did try it. I did not powder, and oh my goodness, it looks so flawless and natural on the skin, and it lasts forever. So keeping these. Next up, we have my Urban Decay Quickie Concealer. This is in the shade 50NN. I talk about this constantly. I really like this concealer. I know that it's old. I'm not gonna lie, I know that it's old and it's probably breaking me out. I'm going to go ahead and dispose of this, but I am definitely going to repurchase. My trusty Haus Labs Skin Tech Foundation. This is in the shade number 260 Light Medium Cool. And you guys, this is so old. Let me reference my notes. I actually went in last night and looked at all of my old review videos and when I did them, so I could kind of reference when I had or when I bought these foundations, because like I said, I'm serious about this today. So Haus Labs, I reviewed this in September 2022, so that makes this 2 years old. Oh my goodness. No wonder I am breaking out, you guys. So I'm going to get rid of this one, but luckily I actually have a backup that they sent me. I guess at this point over a year ago. So I'm going to dispose of this. And by the way, you guys, a good frame of reference, even though these don't have specific expiration dates on them, a lot of cosmetics in America do not have that. They're not required to. You can look at that little icon. It's a jar with a number and the letter M next to it. That's how many months it typically lasts. That is the PAO, which is the point after opening. That's how long your product is supposed to be good for. So that's a good frame of reference. So this one has a 12M, so 12 months. It's definitely been over 12 months. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. Denessa Yummy Skin Universal Blurring Balm. This is just the clear one. This one is specifically for priming the skin. I bought this one fairly recently, I believe right around the end of summer, because I wanted it for my Japan trip. So I'm keeping this one. I really like this in very thin layers. If you do anything that is too thick, it can feel a little bit cakey and your makeup won't like sit well. So you have to make sure that you go in with the tiniest amount and it really fills in the pores. And I feel like it does help with oil, but only slightly, but I do enjoy it as like another defense against my oils. This is the 2AN Cushion Foundation. I have this in number 27 Soft Amber, and I did a TikTok on this one. It was sponsored, so they sent me a bunch of the different cushion foundations, and this one is quite different from the Tier one, where it's more hydrating and it has those skincare ingredients in it. But I find for an everyday natural dewy skin look, this looks incredible on the skin. There's something about cushion foundations that just look so incredibly natural, and I'm obsessed with it. So I'm going to keep this. I like wearing this whenever I want something that looks extra skin-like natural, and I don't need something that's going to last an entire day. The Merit Great Skin Priming Moisturizer, I have actually really been enjoying this primer. I've been using it as a primer. It can be just a moisturizer, to be honest with you guys, but there's something about it. It's not overly hydrating on my oily skin, and I feel like it just helps my makeup smooth onto the skin even better than if I wasn't using this. I like to use this all over the skin, and then I'll go in with specific primers such as the Denessa one, any pore filling primers, any sticky primers in specific areas, but this one is going to be kind of like that base layer of primer. I talked about this one in my skincare declutter when we decluttered my skincare shelves. This is no longer good. I know that for a fact, but I'm keeping it as reference. I'm not going to be putting this on my skin. Rather, I'm just going to be keeping this so we can compare it with newer bronzing drops that come out on the market. This one is a primer from What's Up Beauty. This is the Positivity Lightweight Hydrating Face Primer. They sent this a couple of months ago. It definitely has that moisturizing feel, but it almost feels slightly tacky, like a tacky base. So I'm going to keep this so I can continue to try this out. All right, the NYX Blur Screen. This is supposed to be a blurring primer sunscreen, and I got this mainly over the hype, I'm not gonna lie. It has an expiration date right there. It says 9/20/25, so this is still good. However, I feel like this is a little thick on my skin, and it also doesn't blend into my skin the same way that I typically like my sunscreens to blend. And even if I'm not just using this for a sunscreen, I do feel like it's a little bit thick as a primer on my skin. I'm gonna go ahead and pass this one along. I have a little tray. I know you guys can't see it, but there's a tray in here and there's a bunch of primers, so we'll go ahead and kind of touch into those. This is the NYX Plump Right Back Plumping Serum Plus Primer. I actually really like this primer. I think that it feels so good and refreshing on the skin. If you just need a little bit of moisture, but anything that's creamy just becomes too much underneath your foundation, I think that this is a great option to use. I feel like it is very old, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. It does have a PAO of 12 months, and I'm almost certain that this was a 2023 purchase. The NYX Marshmallow Primer. This is another one that I thoroughly enjoy, but again, it's going to be very old. This one's older than that Plump Right Back one. I really like this one, and I actually have been wanting, like kind of craving using this one again. It's almost like this whipped primer. Think the e.l.f. liquid pore putty primer, but a little whipped. Look, it's not blending well, I think, because this is expired. Usually this just kind of blends into the skin, but it's sort of balling up. But this is definitely one that I am interested in repurchasing. By the way, you guys, if I seem kind of lower on energy, because I'm trying to preserve my energy, because these declutters take hours and hours to film, and I want to make sure that I'm thorough, I'm clear-headed, I can really think about what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of. So I kind of have to keep my energy levels at a even pace. So that's why. There's nothing wrong. I'm trying to tame myself, I guess. This is the JOA Crystal Glow Peptide Infused Foundation. This is actually a foundation, and there was a little time in 2024, I know this was 2024, that I really wanted to try JOA, so I made my way to, I believe it was Walgreens or CVS. Oh, CVS right here. And I went and picked up a couple of JOA products, and there's a couple in here. I'm gonna hold on to this so I can give this one a good try. My Say Glowy Super Gel in the shade Star Glow. I really like this one, and I especially like having this one on hand because it's actually a water-based primer, and I don't think I have a lot of water-based primers. Water-based primers tend to be a lot thinner. They don't necessarily last as long on oily skin. However, I do find that when they're paired with other water-based products, it just gives you the most hydrated, most natural looking skin ever. So if I find that a complexion product is just not meshing well with my go-to primers, then I'll look at the ingredients and confirm if it's water-based or silicone-based, and more likely than not it's water-based, and I will pair it with this one. So I'm keeping this one. Next, we have a couple of In Beauty Project primers. This is the Face Glaze Bronze and just the original Face Glaze. These are nice. They're hydrating, highlighting gel creams, and they're going to be fairly similar to the Say ones, except I find that these are going to be slightly thicker, and because I'm keeping the Say one, I don't feel like I need to keep both of these, but I do find that I reach for the bronze one more just to give my skin a little tint of color. If you don't already have this, I think that you could skip on it. So I have this Exa High Fidelity Color Corrector. This is in the shade Peach, and then we have a PAO of 12M. I kind of have a feeling that if this was not purchased at the beginning of 2024, then it was purchased sometime in 2023. All that aside, I really wanted some color correctors at some point. I was like dying to try a bunch of different color correctors, and that's kind of around the time that I purchased the Bobbi Brown one and the Sigma one, but I didn't feel like I gave this one enough of a try. So I actually want to hold on to this one as well as the e.l.f. one. When did the e.l.f. ones come out? I know that I bought this closely after the e.l.f. ones came out. Okay, so I was trying to figure out when I got these Giorgio Armani products, and I just referenced my Instagram, and it looks like this says May 2023. I know I got it in that month because shortly after I try to do videos after I purchased them. So these are old, my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty old. So unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to get rid of these. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Some people can hold on to these and use them until they're completely gone, but as someone that is acne prone, and I know that I'm just gonna keep breaking out from old products, like if I can eliminate something like old products from my routine in order to help my skin, I think I'm gonna have to do it. Shoot, do I want to? I'm really nervous about doing this. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. At least for the Armani products, I want to hold on to the concealer. I'm okay with getting rid of this hydrating primer because again, I've been getting a lot of use out of the Merit one, and I have not reached for this as much as I should anyways, so I'm gonna get rid of that. But for this, I'm going to test it. Maybe I'll spot conceal in one area for a couple days to see if this is gonna break me out. If it does, I'll toss it. If it doesn't, I'm gonna use it until I'm almost done. Okay, I have both the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer and the LA Girl Blurring Putty Primer. I wanted to test these side by side, or at least like closely to each other. I don't know. I know I got this year, so maybe I'll hold on to this. I'm also going to hold on to the Putty Primer as well. Like I mentioned, I was kind of on a color corrector kick. This is the Huda Beauty one. It is in the shade Peach, and I thought this was okay. You know, like I think it's good. I like her concealer a lot. So I think that this maybe just got overshadowed by the Bobbi Brown and the Sigma ones. So again, I think I'm gonna keep this one and test it out on my skin. The L'Oreal True Match Concealer. This one I got this year, and I've been using this fairly consistently. This is in the shade Medium N5. I'm gonna keep this. I like how thin this feels on the skin. It gives you, I would say, medium coverage, and you can kind of build it up on the skin because of that thin consistency. It doesn't feel or look cakey, and this is slightly lighter than my skin tone, so it's a really nice brightening concealer. This one is still boxed. So this is the Lottie London Light Bright Bounce Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This one, if you guys can see, it looks like it's a little bit more pinky peach. Let's try this one, because if there's any time in the year that this might match me, it would be this time, because I am a little bit more pale. We have more color correctors, guys. These are the e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brighteners. I think that maybe, oh my gosh, it feels so similar to the Sigma one. Wait a second. And I have two shades here, so maybe I can use it similar, because you know the Sigma one is a duo. You have a light one and a dark shade in there. Have you guys tried this? Let me know what you think. I'm going to keep these and test these out because they're barely used. If anything, I think I just swatched them, but I'm impressed. All right, this is the Smashbox and Becca Under Eye Brightening Color Corrector. I know this one is old because I got this whenever I was working at Ulta, and I stopped working at Ulta in 2022. I would honestly repurchase this, but because it's kind of just like been in the drawer, because it looks like I've already gotten some pretty good use out of it, and it seems like it's similar enough to products that I own already, I'm gonna go ahead and dispose of this one, especially because it's a bit older. Okay, the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Lit All Over Glow Enhancer in the shade Taffy Topaz. This has a 12-month PAO, and I got this when this first launched, so I'm pretty sure that was 2023, right? So I just checked, and you guys, this says 2022. I really wanted it, and then I got it. You know, sometimes I think with products like these, I'm just chasing the new product, and I'm chasing that high of buying a new product versus actually wanting the product. It's such a bad thing people like me get sucked into. People that love makeup trends, love makeup collections, like releases and stuff like that. I realize that, and I'm trying not to do it anymore. So anyways, with that being said, we're going to dispose of this one. This is the Milk Stick, like the pore stick, and this came in a big PR box a couple of months back, I want to say in the summertime. They sent this over, and I've only used this a handful of times just because I was in the middle of trying out a bunch of other primers, but I've been recently reaching for this again, and I don't hate it, I don't love it, but I don't think that I have full-on opinions on it just yet, so I would like to continue to give this one a try. We have the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. This one is water-based. I love having this on hand to see how products work with a sticky base primer, and this is kind of like my default. Like, this is the gold standard for me. So I like having this, and I like having these. So first of all, I'm keeping this, but I know that these are so old, like so old. And I've gotten fairly good use out of the Power Grip Primer, the original, but because this one is so old, I'm going to get rid of it. Like, it's so runny, and I don't think it's supposed to be as runny as it is in there anymore. I like this one more anyways. I don't know why I still have more if this is the one I like. I think I lost it for a while, to be honest, but I'm gonna keep this one. I'm going to toss that one, and I'm keeping the milk one. We have a bunch of other primers and color correctors here. The Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. So I got this fairly close to when this first launched, and I've talked about this in the past. I don't know how I feel about it. When I first got it, I was like, I don't think it does anything, but I think that I wasn't using enough, because now I've been like testing it out, and I've actually been combining it with other primers, and now I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a difference here. I don't want to get rid of this because this one keeps selling out, and I don't want to like change my mind and want to try it again and have to rebuy it. I'm still getting my bearings with this one, even though it's been so long. Milk Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. Again, I haven't been able to give this one too much of a chance yet, but when I have used it, this one seems fairly matte. I would say it's a step down from the One Size one, so I'm gonna keep this so I can keep trying it. The e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. This one is my favorite when it comes to the e.l.f. gripping primers. There's just something about this one. The texture feels a little bit slipperier, but it does have a good grip to it. But I feel like for the most part, anything that I put on top of this goes on smoother. Like there's no chance of this one getting tacky or messing with my foundation or concealer. And then I have this blue color corrector from e.l.f. I bought this the same time I got the peach one, and I'm gonna keep this one because I like the convenience of having a blue pigment color corrector in like this doe foot. Okay, look at that. We emptied our first tray. How exciting. I have some stragglers here. So we have the e.l.f. Skin Bronzing Drops. This one is in the shade Pure Gold. This is the one that I personally like to wear. And these are nice. Again, I'm kind of just like holding on to my bronzing drops because I feel like I want to explore this a little bit more. I know that bronzing drops were a huge trend this year. I don't necessarily think that it's going to carry on into 2025, if I'm being honest. But again, purely for research, I'm going to keep these. And sometimes I reach for this if I want a little bit of color. I'll mix this with a moisturizer or with a primer to get just that extra touch of light color. My e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, this is in the medium shade 3.5 medium. In my last declutter, I was talking all about this liquid filter primer and how much I loved it. And then after that video, I went in to use it and I realized that the bottle that I had was bad. It smelled off, like so off. I should have like opened it. So this is actually a result, a purchase result of that video. I have a little Smashbox primer. This is just the original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur primer, and I'm gonna keep this. They sent this one to me this year, and this has a PAO of 24 months, so it's still good. I feel like it does make the skin look fairly smooth and blurred, and if I don't want something that's going to suck up the oils, rather just kind of help my skin release the oils a little bit more evenly throughout the day, this is a good one. I know that sounds weird, but you guys know I like a dewy look, and sometimes I like when my oils come through. Let's talk about this. The L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. I got this as a alternative to the One Size setting spray, and while this is good, it's definitely not as good or a replacement for the One Size, okay? The One Size, the sprayer, the nozzle on that is elite to this one. This one gets stuck, so when you spray it, you can push down and then there's a delay to when it stops spraying. And even then, when you first spray it, it kind of like delays and then comes in like a big gust of product. But not only that, it doesn't mattify my skin as long. It definitely mattifies the skin. So if you're not super oily, like maybe you have normal skin and you tend to get oily, maybe you have combination skin and you can't take how drying the One Size is, this would be a great alternative as long as you kind of finagle the nozzle, you know, and figure out how it sprays. But for my uses, if I want a setting spray that's going to last and set my makeup all day, I am for sure gonna reach for the one size one over this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass this one along to my less oily friend. Okay, here is my Glow Recipe dewdrops, and I've talked about my dewdrops. I love my dewdrops. I know that some people find this a bit polarizing. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people think it doesn't do anything. I was in that boat when I first initially tried the Glow Drops or the dewdrops. I was like, this is not doing anything for my skin, and that's when I was using it as skincare. However, when I transitioned this over to being more of a primer for makeup, that's when I saw most of the difference. After I did all my skincare and then I applied this right before my makeup, it gave me so much hydration without feeling greasy, without allowing my makeup to get slippery on the skin. It was the perfect primer. I still love this, but I actually have the Hue Drops, the one that has a little bit of bronziness, in my everyday little vanity thing storage. So I'm actually gonna pass this along. I think this is still such a great primer. I absolutely love it, and it just smells so good too. The Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. So they actually have a hydrating, blurring, and I think the other one is illuminating. I have one of them in, again, my everyday makeup organizer. So I'm going to pass this one along. I really like these primers though. If you're just looking for something that's going to prep the skin for just regular makeup use, you don't necessarily want it to do anything extra, you know? We have in here, what's supposed to be in here, we have some puffs and some sponges. I'm gonna keep these. I like having these on hand. I have my little Singe one. I also have my eyelash curler cushion replacements as well. I think I got that one in Japan. And then I have another one down here. So this is where those are supposed to go. So I'm gonna keep all that. Oh, here's my one size primer. I got this during the last sale, the one that happened in November, so last month. You guys, this is so mattifying, almost too mattifying. You have to be extremely careful because this is a very finicky product. You can experience pilling if you use too much, and it does say here that you want to shake it well before use only in the areas that you get super oily, and then let it dry for 3 minutes. Like, there's a lot of instructions here for this product, and you have to abide by the rules. This really does help with oils. I like to put this in like my T-zone, only in my T-zone, nowhere else. And I do find that I get extra hours out of my makeup when I do that. So I'm keeping this because it is new, and so far I'm really liking it. I have this like random tray and I mean random tray of eyeliners and mascaras and whatnots. We have this Mango People Juicy Glow Prep and Hydrate Balm. This one I actually really like. So like I said, I have oily skin, but this I like to like swipe under my eyes and give it a little extra hydration, and this is really nice for that. Okay, some randoms here. I'm gonna scoot that over so we can talk about them when we get into foundations and concealers. Sunscreens, these Paula's Choice. This is the Vitamin C Sheer Moisture and the Berry Protect Mineral Sunscreen. I actually have the Youth Sunscreen in my bathroom currently. I love how runny and watery that one is, but I actually find that this mineral sunscreen does not leave a white cast. These are both so beautiful. I love these sunscreens. They're so good. Are they worth it? I don't know, because they're so expensive, and there are so many Asian brand sunscreens that are way less expensive, but because I have them, I'm going to keep them and I'm going to use them. This one I think is going to go. This is the Vacation Mineral Milk. It's the Shake Shake SPF 50. Can you hear that? It is quite runny, but it does have that like mineral sunscreen dry feeling. If you guys have experienced that, it feels like you kind of have to like rub it into the skin, and it's a little bit dry when you first start rubbing it in, and it leaves a little bit of a white cast. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and declutter it. I think it's a really good option for a mineral sunscreen if I'm being honest, but because I kept the one from Paula's Choice and I have a lot of other open sunscreens right now that I prefer over this one, I'm going to pass this one along to anyone that may want it. Some bronzing drops. I actually have 2 of these bronzing drops. I think I actually have 3 because I found another one while I was moving my office over, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, both of these are Sun-Kissed Glow. I got these during the Creators and Friends trip that I took in Palm Springs. They put a huge goodie bag, Physicians Formula bag together. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these and keep the opened one that I found the other day. Another sun drop bronzing drop product. This is the Pacifica one, and same thing. I'm going to keep this one for reference and whenever I decide to do a video on these, but look how small and cute this is. It's so small and cute. Marian May Vegan Peptide Bakuchi Oil Sun Stick. This one expires in 2026, so it's still good. However, I kind of prefer my more hydrating sun sticks. This is going to be a mattifying type of sun stick where it's similar to the Beauty of Joseon one. If you guys have tried that, it's a little bit of that silicone texture like feel. And I have just realized in the last like year or two, when it comes to sun sticks, I like the ones that are slightly more hydrating. I find that they kind of glide over makeup better than something like this. So I'm actually going to pass that one along. I have this Shiseido one. I think this one is still good. It's clear, so it doesn't leave a white cast, and it is again that more hydrating version. And I think that this would be a good one to have on hand. Honestly, with these sun sticks, I need to just like start throwing them in random purses so I always have them. Okay, my Elta MD UV SPF 46. So you guys already know about this. It's a mineral sunscreen that everyone and their mother loves. I like using this in place of foundations sometimes, so I'm gonna keep this one and I'm gonna try to make it a point to use this because it is starting to get a little bit old. So we have a bunch of setting sprays, fixing sprays, shampoo, brush sprays, and I actually don't have as many as I used to, which I'm pretty proud of, I'm not gonna lie. So first I have my MAC Fix Plus. I picked this up actually the last couple of months. I picked this up because I saw Tati do this like hack where she powdered her face and then she drenched her face in MAC Fix Plus and then set it down, and I was like, wait, I want to try that. And I haven't used MAC Fix Plus in a while and I remember really loving it. It's alcohol free now. Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting sprays. I got this in a duo pack. I think that I would get maybe 2 more uses out of this and then I'll move on to this. I don't have the full size because I have these. So I'm gonna use this one up and I'm going to keep this one. These are both fairly new. The Tier Mask Fit Makeup Fixer, when they sent me that package with the cushions, they sent this as well, and then again with that big PR package from Milk. This is a good one. I talked about it recently, but the nozzle does get a little bit clogged because of, I'm guessing it's like a kaolin clay type of thing, like something that mattifies the skin. It gets a little clogged, so I just like scratch at the nozzle and then I'll spray it. This one mattifies the skin more than this one, but this does help your makeup last. And then when I pair it with the Tier cushion foundations, it works pretty well. So keeping those. This is like one of those immediate dry shampoo brush cleaners. Like if I have to use a brush and I don't have time to let it dry down, then I'll spray this and then I'll clean it. But this one I like using for travel. Cali Ray Surf Proof Setting Spray. I hear really good things about it, but honestly, I reach for other setting sprays over this one. Should I keep this one? Let me look at reviews real quick. Yeah, this one has really great reviews. I think I need to just go ahead and start using it. This Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, it's the watermelon one. I actually really like it and I like the way this smells. All Nighter setting sprays, can't go wrong with them. This is great for when I want to step down from the one size, you know, if I need a little bit of hydration. Maybe I went a little heavy on the powder. This is the one I go for. I have these random like boxes and stuff, it came with these powder puffs, you know? So we have setting powders, powder foundations, loose powders. So let's talk about the things that I know for sure I'm going to keep. Huda Beauty loose setting powder. This is the banana bread. It is a little bit dark for me, but in the summertime, this does match me, so I'm gonna keep it. Laura Mercier loose setting powders. This is the original translucent one, and this is the Ultra Blur. So the Ultra Blurs are exactly what they sound like. It is definitely going to be a baking powder for me, and this is in the shade Rose, and I have a little mini travel size of that same one, so I'm keeping these. Another one of the Laura Mercier Ultra Blurs, but this is just the translucent one. These are incredible if you haven't tried them. I love these. I have two Sigma powders, and as you can see, the buttermilk one is very, very yellow. It's actually quite dark for me, but I did receive the vanilla bean in PR whenever I went to that Creators and Friends trip. So I'm gonna keep vanilla bean and I'm going to pass along buttermilk. These are actually really nice too. They sort of remind me of the Huda Beauty ones, except not as drying. If you find those are drying, then this Sigma one might be a good option for you. I do have just this mini of the Huda Beauty Peach Pie. When this first launched, I wanted to try the shade out since the banana bread one was too dark for me, and I much prefer the Peach Pie one. I'm going to keep banana bread just in case I do end up getting more tan there, but Peach Pie is the one I reach for the most when it comes to the Huda Beauty ones. Again, a little mini Laura Mercier powder, but this is the original one, not the Ultra Blur, and it's just the translucent. The Kosas Cloud Set, I got this during their Black Friday Cyber Monday deals. This is in the shade Comfy, and I actually have this one in the shade Pillowy, and Pillowy is too dark for me. You can see here it's much warmer, like this one is much warmer than Comfy. I love this powder as a finishing powder when you want undetectable finishing powder, you know, like this is a great formulation. It is baked, so it very softly applies product. Okay, I got this in Japan too. It's kind of like the Fenty Invisimatte, which is right here, the Fenty Invisimatte, and it's just a blotting powder. This is great for blotting the face whenever I get oily throughout the day, you know. This and this one, I have not opened this one yet because I just felt like I had a lot of powders, but I'm keeping both of those. Milk Makeup, again, this came with the other Milk Makeup products, and I've been testing this. This is super mattifying. Oh my goodness. It is so mattifying, and you can feel it. Like, you can feel this suck up the hydration from your skin, and it's super brightening too, so use this sparingly. I kind of like it though. If I'm going for like more glam, this has been the one that I've been going for. The Tower 28 Get Set Blur. I don't think that this is a great setting powder for me. I don't think it does enough, but for blotting and for finishing, I do think it's a good one. I have not reached for these for quite a while. So the Oma Trip and Smooth Translucent Powder, this is incredibly old. I know that for a fact, and this used to be my go-to. Now looking at it and thinking about it, knowing what I know now, I kind of feel like this might be a finishing powder versus like an actual setting powder because of how loose and finely milled this is. It's definitely older than 12 months though, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. The House Labs Powder Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder. So I used to use this to bake, but again, I think that this might actually be better as a setting or finishing powder, so I'm gonna try it that way. The Anastasia, I don't know, did I use this before? I have a couple because they sent me a couple of the different shades in PR a while back. I have a feeling, just knowing Anastasia as a brand, this one's going to be super glam. Is it going to be super glam? Do I need another blotting powder? I feel like I'm kind of set on blotting powders, to be honest. The Makeup by Mario Loose Setting Powder in Neutral Peach. This one crept up on me. This one I actually really like, but I don't like using this to bake the face. I only like using this with a brush to like lightly set the rest of my face, and it gives you a really natural looking finish. And then the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This one I feel like is quite old. Oh, it's only 6 months. This is definitely old, but I really like this powder. It has a slight sheen to it that looks so natural and smooth on the face. I will definitely repurchase this if I'm like feeling like I want that smooth satiny finish. I have a bunch of Hourglass palettes though that I think do the same thing. But if you want an Hourglass palette, but you don't necessarily want to purchase one for that price, I actually feel like this is a great alternative. Speaking of Hourglass powders, so the e.l.f. powder is right there. You probably can't see it. And then the Hourglass powder, can you tell? They both kind of like have a sheen to them. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. This one's actually fairly old. Like you saw that swatch. It doesn't seem to be swatching the same way anymore. Like that looks much darker than what's going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. And I'm gonna declutter this one. Luminous Light was actually my favorite one. This one, oh, so pretty. I actually have my unlocked palettes right here. I'm not decluttering any of these. These are all fairly new. And even so, they're like collector products for me. I have another Swede product. This is the Miracle Powder in the shade number 2 medium light. I've used this a couple times just to test it out. So I'm going to try this again. And actually this time I think I might use this as more of a finishing powder because look at that radiance that it gives the skin. It looks so beautiful, but as a powder foundation by itself, I just felt like it was a little bit too much radiance. So I think I'm gonna do my whole face and then like do a very light dusting of this to see how it does. The Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch in Banana Bread. I think maybe the loose powder seems darker because I was using it to bake. Maybe this is better. I don't have a pressed banana powder. I might try that again. The Rare Beauty powder in the shade Light Beige. You know, this didn't wow me. I wanted it to wow me. I wanted to love this, but I just didn't. It has a really smooth, buttery texture, but the way that it looked on the skin, it wasn't what I wanted it to look like. So I might try this again as a finishing powder and we will see. If I'm not wowed by this the next time I use it, I'm gonna declutter it. These two, I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter just solely because they're quite old. The MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, this one is in the shade Medium Dark, and I know that this one is old. It's so old, and I was so tempted to get a new one whenever they had their sale for the holidays, but I did not. Because this is a powder though, you guys, I might keep it and I might play around with it, see how I feel. I want to make sure that this is actually still my shade because it's been quite a while. My Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I'm keeping this one. I love this. I'm currently using another one that I have in my project pan. So this is going to be the next one that I use. I have a bunch of Kaleidos like powders here. They're all different colors. This is medium, and then I have light, and then I have tan. I think I can get rid of tan. This one pains me, you guys. This Makeup Forever HD Matte Velvet Powder Foundation. I have this in 2N34. I got this, so I looked back at when I did this video, and I did it in February 2023. So this is hitting 2 years now. This was a whirlwind, I will say, when I first got it, but I found a great way to wear it and I love it. If you guys want to see that whole video, I will link it down below so you can like check it out. But I want to keep it because I want to see if it's actually going to irritate my skin, and I want to use it as a finishing powder when I'm going for like more of that glam look. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna see how my skin does. If it hates it, then it hates it. We'll get rid of it. So now we're on to foundations and concealers. Okay, here's the thing. So like I mentioned, I went in and looked at a bunch of my old videos to see when I may have acquired these products, and then I'm going to get rid of them accordingly. Now I want to be a little bit more aggressive here because these are liquids, and liquids tend to expire faster than anything like a powder. And again, I don't want anything that's going to irritate my skin. I will preface this and let you guys know that all of these products, as far as I'm concerned, at one point or another, I really liked, and I would repurchase most of these products, okay? I just wanna say that now. Okay, starting off with the newer things, the things I know are newer. So the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Foundation, this one I'm hot and cold with, you know? I'm hot and cold, I'm not quite ready to get rid of it, but I'm also only holding on to it to see like when it's really gonna impress me. And then I got this little mini Makeup Forever HD foundation, I think in the springtime of this year. It was 2N26, and this one is in Latte 300N. And I've actually been really liking this for more of that natural skin-like finish. It kind of replaced this for me. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I kept this one solely because this is what I wore on my wedding day and it makes me happy. I love this product, but again, I haven't used it in so long. This is in the shade Barcelona. Clearly I love it because I wore it on my wedding day, but I'm going to dispose of this because I'm like 1000% sure this is expired. My Urban Decay Face Bond in the shade 17. I really like this. This has kind of been my go-to when I want something more full coverage. If I want the most glam, I typically go for my House Labs or my Face Bond. My Sigma Skin Perfecting Hydrating Tint. I have this in the shade 3. I don't think that this is a perfect match for me, but I can easily color correct it whenever I wear it. So I'm keeping this especially because it's a newer one in my collection and I want to give it a very good try. I have these Bare Minerals Bare Pro All Over Skin Perfecting Matte Concealers. I have a couple shades. I have the medium 300 neutral in my everyday makeup. I really like these. These are so good. They're definitely mattifying. And I would say that these are high coverage in terms of my preferences. I think that this is like one of the more high coverage concealers that doesn't look dry on the skin. So I'm keeping these. Oh, I also have another one of those hydrating skin tints in the shade number 4. I actually mixed these two, so I'm keeping that. Another 2AN cushion foundation. This is in the shade number 29 Caramel Beige. Now I'm not sure which one is my match. You know what? I think I was like right in between the two, so I'm gonna keep that. This is my L'Oreal Skin Tint. I put it in a cushion. It smells a little off. I'm not gonna lie. It smells a little bit off, and I think that I put this in here in like 2023 maybe. So I might just go ahead and wash this out, rinse it out, and put a new skin tint in here. Why not? This is my Danessa Yummy Skin Blurring Balm in the shade 6. So this was the one I had way before, and I didn't have a perfect match when these first came out. I was like, I think I originally bought 4 and then I got 6 because 4 was way too light, but now 6 is way too deep. I don't know if there's a 5 or if they've expanded it since then, but this one doesn't match. But even so, it's very old. When did I do this review? May 2022, so that's gotta go. Oh, this Ritual Defee 3-drop weightless serum foundation. I really like this. This is such a good foundation if you guys have never tried it out. All of my Laura Mercier concealers. I know that this is kind of overkill, but they sent these to me in PR. I did not purchase these, but I do love these. Oh my gosh, these are so good. It's kind of like that velvety matte finish. I need to figure out which one of these is like my perfect match, and then I'll go ahead and get rid of the other ones. The Rare Beauty Skin Tint. So we actually have a good amount of skin tints in my drawers still because I had all the intentions to do a full skin tint review video, but I never did that. I think the time has passed, unfortunately. I told you guys that I would and I never did. I'm sorry about that. But I have all these skin tints and I don't touch them because a lot of them are quite old. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the L and get rid of them. So the Rare Beauty one, I did this review in April 2022, so that's gotta go. The Tower 28, when did I do this one? Oh, I don't have this written down, but I'm pretty sure this one was also, oh, here we go. There's an expiration right there. It says May 2024 is when this one expired. So Amicole, I actually got late last year and I really like this one, so I'm gonna make it a point to use this on my like no makeup days. I'm gonna keep that. The Hourglass Skin Tint I got when they had that accidental like promo code that was 50% off. I bought this then. This is in the shade 10. I like this. I'm not crazy about it, but I also am like, I bought it and I'm getting rid of a bunch of skin tints, and this will do its job. So I'm gonna try to use this one. Summer Fridays, I did this video in August 2022, so this has gotta go. I don't remember being extremely like obsessed with this one either. It was fine. The Supergoop Protect Tint, I got this specifically for that skin tint video that I never did, but this one was kind of greasy, you guys. It was too shiny and too greasy and it didn't set down very well on my skin. This is gonna get passed on. My Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop, I love this. Okay, but I can't remember. I have to look in my PR drawer because I know that they sent me a new one quite a while back. but I think it was earlier this year is when they sent it to me. Yeah, it was earlier this year because they sent the concealers with it. I'm gonna check my PR drawer, but either way, I'm keeping the newer one that I have. This iconic London Super Smoother Blurring Skin Tint. This is a skin tint that I actually think is really good. It has a PAO of 12 months. I think that this is quite old, but I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it, see what I think about it. I think that this was slept on, to be quite honest with you guys. This Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. This was always such an interesting texture. This is Dune 7.5. It's like that gel moussey texture that doesn't ever really absorb into the skin. You know what I mean? I kept it for the skin tint video, but I'm gonna go ahead and declutter her. Makeup by Mario foundation. This video was done in January 2023, so we're about to hit 2 years, and this has a PAO of 12 months. Definitely past its prime, and this one actually smells a little funny, so I'm gonna have to declutter it, but I actually really love this foundation, and I would definitely repurchase this. Speaking of old, the Kosas foundation, this one, I did this video in February 2022, and it expired in July 2023. So this has got to go. Again, the Armani Luminous Silk, kind of like the concealer. I'm going to try this out, see how it does on the skin, if it irritates me at all. If not, I want to keep using this. And if it does, then I'm gonna have to get rid of it. The CL Skin Tints. These are some of my absolute favorite skin tints. It has such good coverage. It has mineral sunscreen that does not leave a white cast, no flashback. It blends and absorbs into the skin so effortlessly. This texture and formulation is just so unique and luxe. I'm absolutely in love with this product. I have 2 shades because I loved it so much when I first got it in number 8 medium honey in the summertime that I got it in number 7 tan to match me whenever it didn't match me in the summer. And these don't expire until next May. So these are good to go. I love these so much. This Orsay Cosmetics one, I got this, I believe this year they sent this to me, and I really like this. This is such a good foundation. I would say that this is a thicker version of the CL one. That one is like runny, while this one is a little bit more viscous, but it looks so natural on the skin. It doesn't emphasize any of my fine lines or pores, and the shade match is just great. This is an Asian founded brand, so they understand Asian skin tones and undertones, which I really appreciate. This is in 50W, by the way, Nove. This IT Cosmetics CC Plus Nude Glow. Yeah, this one's expired. It says 2023, and I'm pretty sure that I had like given these away because I was like, oh, I have one. Y'all, I did this video in April 2022. I think I like it more than the CC Matte. And what is this? Oh, this one is good until 2026. So I'll keep this. I think this is the newer version actually, and I need to try that out. This is so old. So old. Oh my gosh, December 2020. I have no excuse why this is still in here. This NYX one, also incredibly old. Oh, not that bad. January 2023. Yeah, this is so dark for me. I always had to mix this. This is a great one though. I like the finish of this. It's kind of really thick though, so you have to go in with a very little amount of it, but your makeup will look flawless. Like if you need this for like a full glam, this is the one for you. The About Face foundation, I love this. I got this year. This is an M1 neutral. This is one of my go-tos actually, so I'm keeping that. The Fenty Soft Lit, I like this. This is in the shade 290. When did I do this video? Oh, I did this video 7 months ago, so we're still Gucci with this one. And we have this stick. I did this stick last year, I believe. This is such a good stick foundation. Like this is in the shade 11. It's the same one as the skin tint, the Ease Drop. I've used a good amount of this. I use this fairly often too, so I'm gonna keep that. I have a bunch of the Bosma Beauty foundation sticks. My shade is the shade 21, and I actually have 2 because I bought this one myself, and then a while later they sent me some some PR, but this one I know is pretty old. I would say that I got this maybe 2 years ago, so maybe I'll go ahead and declutter this one and I'll open this fresh one. I like these foundation sticks. I think they are so good. They're nice and matte without being drying on the skin. And then I also have the shade number 20, which is slightly lighter, which I think I want to hold on to in case this one matches me better than this one. The Ilia foundation stick, I got this year, and I actually really like this. I feel like not a lot of people talk about this, but this is more of that satin matte finish. It's slightly hydrating in terms of a foundation stick, but it looks really blurred on the skin. I have the shade 18N Hawthorne. I actually have a ton of these Fenty concealers because I bought one myself and then they ended up sending me some in PR. Like the Laura Mercier one, I'm going to swatch all of these and see which ones match me the best. This Hourglass foundation, I loved this foundation, and in my video I talked all about how much I loved it, but that video was filmed August 2022, and I will definitely repurchase this. I wish I did this declutter before Black Friday sales because I would have picked this up again. It just has the most beautiful soft matte glowy finish, if that's even a thing. Like, it's mind-boggling how natural and blurring this looks on the skin. And this is the shade 8. This Say foundation, can you see? Can you tell? I have like barely touched it. So this one was filmed in March 2023. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. This was in the shade number 16. I liked it. I liked the way that this looked right off the bat. However, it did not last on the skin as long as other foundations did. My Tower 28 Swipe concealers. These are some of my favorites to wear on my skin whenever I don't want to wear foundation and I want to replace my foundation with concealer. These are the ones I go for. These are water-based, so again, they look really, really natural. I'm pretty sure that these are quite old. I think that I got these August 2023, but they're still going strong. I haven't had any issues with them so far, so I'm going to keep these and try to finish them up. We have the NARS Creamy Concealer and the Tarte Shape Tape Radiant. I think this is kind of new. I can't even remember when I got it, but this only lasts for 6 months, which is kind of surprising to me, no? It smells a little bit off, unfortunately. I actually really like the Shape Tape Radiant. I feel like this is a way better formula than the regular one, but it smells a little funny, so I'm gonna get rid of it. You guys don't hate me, but I think I've come to terms with the fact that this is just not one of my favorites. I don't think it gives me enough coverage. I don't think I have a perfect shade match. And half the time I feel like I look ashy and it doesn't actually cover up any of my hyperpigmentation. My Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer in the shade Cookie Dough. I love this one. This one is still good. I reach for this fairly often, so I'm keeping that. And my Lip Tinted, actually forgot about this. Oh, that smells bad. That actually smells really bad. I'm gonna have to get rid of it. I love the brush applicator on this concealer. I was obsessed with this at some point, so I would definitely repurchase this. I think the undertone on this was perfect for me, and it has that really nice serum-y texture, but it's slightly thicker, so I feel like I got good coverage out of that. Anastasia concealer, shade 11. I think this was actually PR, so I'm gonna keep this one. This is a good high coverage concealer. And then I have another Kosas concealer. This is in the shade 6.2N. I actually feel like this would be a great concealer to match my skin and then use 6.0 to like brighten. So I'm gonna keep this and see how this does on my skin. I think I got this last Black Friday. And then I have this Glossier Stretch Concealer. I got this the same time that I purchased the foundation, which is right here. And these I got in August 2023. This lasts, it says, for 6 months, and this says it lasts for 12 months. So I'm going to have to get rid of the stretch concealer. Oh, that smells kind of bad. And I also don't think that I was that big of a fan of this. This one was okay. I thought that it was nice. It looked good on the skin at first, but again, it just didn't give me the longevity that I wanted it to. This one kind of hurts because I love this foundation. This is the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. And I did this video in March 2023, it says, and the PAO on this one is 12 months. It might still be good. I mean, technically it's not good according to the PAO. Let's smell it. It smells okay. Should we just keep it and try it and see how it does? Because I know I love this foundation, I think I will do that. I'm trying to give this more of a try. This is the Anastasia Beauty Balm in 11. So many people love it or hate it, or like there's no in between. I'm trying to figure it out, so I'm gonna keep it. Bare Minerals Bare Pro Skin Perfecting Matte Liquid Foundation in the shade Medium 30 Neutral. I think I used this one time. I don't know why it's still in the box. I think that maybe I wasn't a big fan of it, probably why it's still in the box. And because I kept some of the concealers and I know I like the concealers a lot, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. The Lancome Care and Glow Foundation. This one actually is so good, and I feel like not a lot of people talked about it, but I think it was totally worth it. It expired February of this year, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. But 335W, you guys, was actually a perfect match for me. It was so good. Youthforia Foundation. I have kept this. I got this way before that whole Youthforia scandal, and unfortunately I really liked this. I had this in the shade 330. I will not be repurchasing this one. I did like the formulation, but I just feel like I have much better brands to pick from. Okay, my LA Girl color correctors, these mixing pigments, I thought I would use these more than I did. These are so inexpensive that I actually don't mind repurchasing these, but I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these. I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to these until I get replacements, just in case. This is actually a newer one that I picked up again for that skin tint video, and I actually like this. This is the Wet n Wild skin tint. This is in the shade medium, cream beige medium, and I like this. It's a little bit warm for me, but the texture of it is really nice, so I'm gonna keep it. I have another Kosas concealer. This is in 6.50. I'm gonna keep that one. I have a She Glam concealer. I like this one actually. This is in the shade Acorn, but it does have that weird sponge tip that I'm not crazy about, but I do like the way that this looks on the skin as a brightening concealer, and this is high coverage. And I like to have a couple of high coverage options on hand, and because this one is still good, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one. The Ami Colé concealer in the shade medium 2.5. This is actually such a great concealer. It's a little bit thicker of a mousse consistency, like definitely a creamier moussey texture concealer, and I would say that this is a good medium to full coverage foundation. I really like this. NARS foundation, as you can kind of see, it's definitely separated. I haven't touched this in a very long time. Look at that. That looks so crazy. This is old. I'm gonna get rid of it, and I don't think it's something that I personally will be repurchasing anytime soon. This one pains me too. This is the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I'm pretty sure that this was before they reformulated it, so I think I'm gonna get rid of it. It's old. I haven't reached for it, and I would prefer to have the newer version anyways, so I can reference that one. My Maybelline Skin Tint in 220, I'm gonna keep this. I think this is starting to get a little bit older. I could probably do with a newer one, a newer bottle, but it still seems to work fine. It still smells fine to me. I love this foundation. It works so well. It has a little bit of like a satin sheen to it, but it dries down better than the L'Oreal skin tint, especially if you have oily skin. Okay, the Revlon Skin Silk F10 is the shade. I kept this one because I thought it was a really good drugstore alternative for the Laura Mercier Weightless foundation that I really enjoy. I may keep this, but listen, I am a little on the fence about Makeup Revolution, the brand, just because they are constantly copying off of smaller brands, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm gonna give this another try. If this doesn't wow me, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and pass this along. Okay, Live Tinted came out with a skin tint this year. This is in the shade 08, and as you guys guessed it, I bought it for that video. It's definitely a thicker skin tint, but it also has a lot of coverage, so I like this one. I want to dip into this more. The CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfecting Essence, I have this in the shade medium medium 40. I'm so about this, to be honest, but I think I'm gonna keep it because I want to use it as a reference point in case other brands come out with similar products in 2025. And then lastly, we have Salt New York. This is Kiki's brand, actually. I met her during the Creators and Friends trip in New Orleans, and she was kind enough to send me a bunch of the cream foundations and bronzers and stuff. I also have some blushes that I'm really excited to talk about later. These are beautiful. They're definitely going to be skin enhancing foundations and contours and bronzers and stuff like that. They're not going to cover up your skin. They're literally just going to kind of flatter what you already have going on. If you do have oily skin, I will say that you kind of have to trial and error with these because they can tend to look a little greasy if you go too thick with them. And you really need just a little bit of everything for this to get like that perfect coverage, to make it look like you're not wearing any makeup. And I love this compact. It's so nice. So it is a magnet and you kind of just pop in the different colors that you want here. And this zips up so you know that the product isn't going to dry out. This is so nice and compact and it just feels so luxe. Random things back here. They're just face jewels. I used these one year for my birthday. I think it was my 30th birthday. I put some jewels on my eyes. I thought that was so fun. And this is just the wax pencil, the tweezers that came with it. And then I have this Mayron Paradise Makeup 8 color palette, which I have not used in years. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And plus, look at that. It's all cracked and gross and stuff. So that's going to leave. Okay, that's everything for this drawer. You guys know the whole debate. I say it wrong, but I'm going to say it how I say it. Let's be real. Okay, so that's everything. I think we did so good, you guys. Let me take a quick video on my phone of all of the products we are keeping. So these are all the products that I'm keeping right here. It's a good amount still for sure. Like this is way more than the average person needs, but we got rid of so much product, way more than we did the last time when I did this in the summer this year, right? I'm gonna lay this out on the floor so you guys can truly see how much product we got rid of. And this is just one section. So I'm feeling so good about going into my other sections, but let's go ahead and refill all of this so you guys can join me in that little journey. Okay, you guys, so here is what our drawer is looking like. Look how much more organized this is. I can actually see every product that is in here. So let me kind of walk you through it. So here is one tray right here, and I was actually able to fit all of my foundations and skin tints into one tray. That has not happened in I don't know how long. I'm so impressed by how much we got rid of, you guys. I'm so happy with this amount. And then the tray right behind it, we have all of my primers, all of my concealers, and my color correctors right back here. I love the Fenty concealers, but listen, storing these things, annoying as heck. And then right next to that, we have this clear tray, and I went ahead and put my cushion foundations in here. The thing with cushion foundations is they kind of like slide around all over the place if you don't lay them flat. So this is probably best for these. And then right behind that, not in a tray, just in the drawer itself, we have all of the setting sprays I kept, as well as the sunscreens that we kept as well. This is in here for now. It's all of those mascaras and eyeliners that we went through. I don't really want to keep this in here, but it's in here for now because it doesn't fit where I keep all my other eye makeup products. We'll see after we declutter those sections. And back there, we have that little tray of sponges and puffs and stuff like that. We have all of the powders. Moving the camera a little bit more for you guys. So we have all the powders here in this tray right there, and back there are the finishing and pressed powders, and then these two rows right here are going to be my loose powders, my baking powders, my finishing powders. And I wanted to make sure that I actually go in and use my Hourglass palettes because I feel like I don't get enough use out of these. So I put these right up here. I just moved this little tray organizer back, and then I stuck all three of my unlocked palettes up here. And then we have some square powders here that just don't exactly fit perfectly in this rounded can storage organizer thing. So I have that there, but this is looking so much better than when we started. Do you guys agree? Let me also give you a little bit of footage on my phone so you can see a new angle, but this is what it's looking like. I am so happy with this progress, you guys. We did an incredible job, if I do say so myself. I'm so happy that I went in and looked at when those other videos were taken, like when I purchased those other foundations, because for a long time I did do a lot of foundation review videos. I still want to, but I think I'm definitely going to be way more picky about it because, as you saw, we had so many foundations to declutter that I was nowhere near done with. Unless there's a foundation or complexion product that I am either super excited and sure that I will like, or you guys are super excited about and curious about and want to see my thoughts on, then I think that this upcoming year I'm definitely gonna pump the brakes a little bit on purchasing more complexion stuff. As you saw, a lot of the complexion stuff was purchased between 2020 and 2022. So I already tried to slow down a little bit, but we're making progress here. We're making some good progress. Okay, next up, we're gonna move over and do the blushes, bronzers, and highlighters. There's some random stuff in there. We have creams, powders, blushes, all the things. I'm super excited and nervous, honestly. I'm very nervous about it, so let's move over there. Alrighty guys, here we are in the second section, blushes, bronzers, and highlighters. So this category is definitely by far the hardest in my opinion because it's really hard for me to let go of any of these blushes, bronzers, and highlights solely because a lot of them are very good. A lot of them have extreme potential. So the way that I want to tackle it this time around so we are successful, because my goal again is to get rid of the clutter, is to focus on the things that I just have not touched. None of these are bad in my opinion, at least from what I can tell just kind of glancing at all of these, but everything's a great product. But the things that I'm just not typically touching, the things that I have an excess amount of colors maybe, and just generally like along those lines, I'm going to try to get rid of, and I'm gonna try to do minimal swatching. If you guys are looking for swatches in this category, if you're looking for swatches in this declutter, I'm going to try to just skip right through that because I talk myself into keeping products when I swatch them. So we're actually going to start here with the highlights, move on to the bronzers, and then the blushes. I think the blushes are going to be the most difficult part, so I want to gain some momentum with decluttering. So we'll start over here. I have this box. I don't know why I have the box. This is the Danessa Myricks Forever Flushed kit that came out for the holidays. Starting with the Westman Atelier highlight stick. This is a lit up highlighting stick. These are actually really gorgeous. I have two of these, I believe. The other one may actually be in my everyday vanity. This is a pink one, and oh my gosh, I just said that I wasn't gonna swatch things, and the very first thing I pull out, I swatch. I'm gonna keep this. These were expensive, and I need to use it. I would feel horrible getting rid of this, and it's a really beautiful, very subtle highlight. This Dibs Beauty Good Life Gold highlight. So I wanted this for the longest time and I never bit the bullet, but Dibs sent me PR this year, and this is beautiful. I think that this is such a good highlighting stick specifically for your body. So I like keeping this for body highlight. Okay, Fenty Beauty Hot Cheeks. I got this mainly because I thought the packaging was insane. And this one is actually a very beautiful highlight blush. I don't dip into this as much as I want to, like I said, but it is that baked formula that I'm starting to, again, find that there is a resurgence, and I'm very interested in all of my baked formulas formulas. So I'm going to keep this. The Iconic London Illuminator. These are the liquid highlights. I had been wanting the Rollerball Iconic London highlight because I saw that it was starting to get really popularized, but I had this already. I got this, I want to say 2022 or 2021. I know that they're old, but I don't feel like I need to purchase another highlight. Like I don't want to buy the same thing in a rollerball. You know what I mean? So I already have this. This is the original, but I believe that now they have multiple colors. I'm going to just keep this one and try to see if it's actually worth keeping. The Fenty Beauty highlight, this is in the shade Too Much, and actually I bought this one even though I wanted the Prosecco shade, but when I had gone to get it, this was the one that was in stock, and I actually really like this because it has that little tint of a pinky peach, so it's a great blush topper. So I have these Kaja highlighters, and they're the Mochi Glow highlights, and as you can see, they still have the packaging on it. It's kind of this bouncy formula highlighter, and I have Luna and Toy Alien, and they sent these to me last year. I have not touched them, but I promise you I have to touch it. I'm sorry. Look at that. It's so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna use it. And the reason I want to keep those mainly is because I feel like they are very similar to the Rare Beauty highlight. This is my only Rare Beauty highlight. This is in the shade Exhilarate. Do you guys remember when everyone was going goo goo gaga over these? This one is definitely the prettiest in my opinion. It gives the most glow, but it's still fairly not natural, but it's not so in your face because there's no noticeable big glitter particles to this. So I'm going to keep this one. I actually really enjoy this, especially as an inner corner highlight. Okay, I have this Jane Iredale Glorious blush stick. One of my friends that I met during a Creators and Friends trip, her name is Sierra Taylor. She actually sent this over to me with a package of other goodies. This is beautiful. However, I kind of feel like the gold in it just makes my skin look a little bit more warm. I feel like if you have a warm undertone, like a true warm undertone, this would be a beautiful rusty orange on you. So I think I'm going to pass this along to a family or friend that has a warm undertone. Revlon Skin Lights, you guys, are they bringing these back or are they already back? I don't know, but this I think is definitely one of my most favorite drugstore highlights. It is beautiful, incredible. I love this. Okay, I just looked and they actually sell these again. I think there was a point in time when they either discontinued it or there were rumors that this was getting discontinued, but this says that it is available. I have 201 Daybreak Glimmer, and honestly, I haven't reached for this, even though I think that this is such a gorgeous highlight. I've gotten so much use out of this, but this is most definitely expired. I love this. It served its purpose, but it's gonna go. This one is the Victoria Beckham Estee Lauder highlight. Do you guys remember this one? So beautiful. It's kind of like this light taupey shade. I'm sorry, I have to swatch this. I know I'm keeping this one because this is definitely the highlight that I reach for the most, and it also doubles as an absolute beautiful eyeshadow. So I'm keeping this one. I still dip into this a lot. I have a couple of these Makeup Revolution highlighters. I got these because I had heard they were supposed to be similar to the Rare Beauty ones, and honestly I reach for the Rare Beauty highlight way more, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. I really like these highlighters from Sephora. These are the colorful luminizers. I have the shade Glitzy Gold and Sparkling Honey. They definitely give more of like that metallic look to the skin, so I would say go in with a very light hand if you don't like a very strong highlight. I don't tend to wear golds very often, and when I do, it's mainly in the summertime when I'm super tan, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one, but I will be keeping this one. I actually have a bunch of these Cleona Cosmetics highlighters. I got these gifted to me during the Creators and Friends trips. You guys, these are absolutely gorgeous and they are such fun colors. I really like these as like eyeshadow colors. I don't necessarily use these on my face, like on my cheeks. They're all different shades based on the different fruit. So this one is grape. It's definitely my favorite. And this one as an inner corner highlight, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. It's kind of like this iridescent purple shade. I have have these two Judy Doll highlights. This one is pretty much an exact dupe for Fenty's Diamond Balm. It is super shiny and gorgeous. It's kind of like this transparent finish, almost like a topper type of highlight. It definitely has glitter in it. And then I have this one that's more of a sheen. This one is nice. These are definitely pressed a little bit hard. So again, it's going to be more of that sheer pigmentation here. It's not like the best one in my opinion. So I'm actually going to declutter this one, but I'm definitely keeping this one. I kept this Wet n Wild one. I don't remember why, kind of for memories maybe. It's the Precious Petals highlighting powder. It's beautiful, but you can see I've never actually dipped into it, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this. I have these really gorgeous Florasis highlighters, and these are very difficult for me to get rid of because of how beautiful the embossing is. I mean, just look at that. This one really reminds me of NARS Orgasm because it's that pink with kind of that gold overlay. That one is in the shade 2 Amber Glow. And then we have a number 1 Quartz Glow. These have such great color payoff. They are so beautiful. I want to keep this one because I feel like I have more of a chance of like dipping into this because it's kind of like a blush topper. Also a very difficult one for me to declutter, but I only kept one of these. Last time I had 2 and I kept Safari Sunset. Look how cute this is. Oh my gosh, they are so good about these like embossings. They're gorgeous. They're so fun. So you have like kind of this gold shade and then you have more of this pinky tone, and then mixed together it's like an even mix of the two. If I am being real though, I feel like I would reach for the Kaja one, the Fenty one, or the Rare Beauty one over this because I do think that this is a little bit light even as a highlight for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this, but I want to keep it for the packaging. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Maybe I'll depot this and put something else in it. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, these are definite like keeping for memes type of thing. So I have MAC Soft and Gentle. I got this at a cosmetics company store, like a CCO store. This I wanted for so long and I finally found one on sale at the CCO and I was like, I need to get it. And then I have a Whisper of Guilt. This gold had us in a chokehold. 2016, you guys. This one and Give Me Sun from MAC. Oh my goodness. I mean, is this giving Jesse Perkins or what? This is actually one gold highlight that I would consider wearing still because it kind of is that neutral undertone of a gold where it could almost look like just a natural sheen. I have it right there and it just looks like a natural sheen on the face. It's so good. These are great products. I think that they're staples. However, mine are definitely old and they still sell these. So again, if I ever feel like I absolutely need these again, I will repurchase, but I haven't reached for them. So I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, but I'm going to declutter these. I'm not decluttering this, obviously, the Anastasia Resi highlight. I mean, the memories, the embossing on this, the way that it just looks like sand, and this perfect white gold color. Yeah, this is not going anywhere. I need to put this in like a makeup memory box or something and take it out of my collection. I'm definitely gonna do that. My Fenty How Many Carats, that's what it's called. It's not Diamond Balm. This is How Many Carats. I'm keeping this. I feel like I always reference back to this whenever there is a glittery, sparkly topper at all involved. I feel like Urban Decay, Space Cowboy, and this one. These are always getting duped and, you know, redone. So I'm keeping this for sure just because I feel like it makes sense as someone that does this for a living to have this specific product. This is Heat Wave from, is this Estee Lauder? Yeah, Estee Lauder. Again, 2016 me is like living for this gold highlight. It's so good and this packaging is just so sleek to me. I keep checking my phone to see if these are all still sold. Because honestly, a lot of the times I keep things because of FOMO. Like if it's no longer available, I'm like, I need to keep it. This is still available, but I'll be honest with you guys, I think that this is just so gorgeous. Again, I got this at a CCO, so it was on discount. This is not something I would be willing to repurchase full price, so I'm going to keep it mainly because it's kind of iconic for me. This e.l.f. Jelly Pop Glow Stick, I never really use it. It has like this pink iridescence to it, so I'm gonna declutter that. I have these really beautiful Unearthly Cosmetics liquid highlighters. As you guys can tell, I've only kept one liquid highlight, which is Iconic London. I just find that they're a little bit difficult for me to work with for some reason. I think that it takes off a lot of my concealer and my blush underneath it, so I don't typically reach for them. They are so pretty. It's in the shade I'm Sprung and Awaken. I mean, super beautiful, but honestly, I don't wear these shades or these type of things on my cheeks. If anything, I'm wearing them on my eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one, or both of these. We have another Fenty. This is Trophy Wife, and this I think was probably one of the first iconic highlighters from Fenty Beauty. It is that true like yellow gold. This is definitely very warm. I honestly kept this because it was one of my first gratis pieces from Ulta when I worked there, but just not really my vibe. I don't wear these colors on my eyes either, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter because of that. Honestly, I feel like I have to keep this. This is from House Labs. This is the Moonstone highlight. Back when their packaging was like that larger compact, crazy silver. I kind of keep this for memories. This was something that they sent me in one of my first PR packages from them, but this got me so excited because House Labs is definitely one of my favorite cosmetic brands. So I'm gonna keep this solely because this is really special to me. And then back here, you guys, are all of like the discontinued collection collab stuff that I kept last time. And I think I'm going to actually try to make like a memory box this time instead of keeping it in my collection. So I think we did pretty good on the highlights, to be honest. That was more than I anticipated. Let me actually pull out this. This is one of the Anastasia glow kits. This is that glow, and the way that I lived for this palette, you guys, you couldn't tell me anything. I was that girl when I got this palette. I was like, yeah, I got the Anastasia highlight palette. I love this so much. I'm gonna keep this in a memory box as well. Now we are moving on to bronzers. There's like blushes kind of thrown in here because they no longer fit in my blush category, but starting off with a lot of things that I'm keeping because these are things that I threw in here when I was moving my office from on top of my vanity. So I still use these all the time. So I just got these Phytosurgence bronzers. These are great. They really focus on the rosy undertones and the warm undertone without it looking red and without it looking like gray on the skin. It's just incredible. The nuances of the complexion products, so good. So these I have been playing around with and testing. Speaking of MAC Give Me Sun, I just started to dip back into my Give Me Sun. I was really craving a warmer bronzer, just something that looked a little bit, for lack of a better term, orange. Like sometimes that looks great with warmer looks that I do, and on my skin tone, I think it looks really good. So I have been using this one a lot. These Jones Road products, they sent me the last like 2 months or so. They're the Miracle Bombs, and they sent me Miami Beach and Sunkissed. And oh my gosh, you guys, have you tried these? I know that Jones Road had a moment where it was like really viral because people were misusing the products and whatever. I realized that you're supposed to really get in there, almost make it this putty texture and really break that first seal. I would even say like a second seal. And then you start to get that color deposit, and the way that this looks on the skin, it's so incredibly natural. It literally looks like you're glowing from within. These actually set down pretty well. You're supposed to use this on top of powders. I will say that it does leave your skin feeling a little bit like you have a balm on it, but it's not bad, and I don't find that it gets in the way of the rest of my makeup. Here's another Phytosurgence. I got this at the same time as those bronzers. This is the Dew of Dawn Spectral Shine highlight. I got this because a lot of my friends rave about this, and I was like, I think I need it. And it is that perfect highlight color. And being in this cream form, I just want to reach for it more. This is beautiful. I like to apply this with my fingers. The Physicians Formula Diamond Bronzer, great alternative for the Makeup by Mario. This one. Great alternative for this product. This is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Enhancer. I love this. This is currently in my project pan. I'm keeping both of these because I still actively use these. My Milani bronzer. This is the Spilling Tea shade. This is the Cheek Kiss. Can you see that dent right there? I love this. Again, if you love a cream bronzer, this is an incredible one. The undertone of this is so good. I initially bought a shade that was way too dark for me, and again, I felt like this had so much potential because the actual formula was so good that I bought the shade lighter, and it is perfect. It gives me the most natural bronze to the skin. My NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. Is this my broken one? I already repurchased this, so I don't know why I kept this. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that. Say Do Bronze. This is in the shade Spritz. I currently have the shade Swim in my everyday makeup vanity, so I'm gonna keep this one because I think this is a better match for me in the summer. I have two of the Physicians Formula liquid highlighters. I think these are the same exact thing. Like I said, from that Creators and Friends trip, Physicians Formula really hooked us up with products, and they gave us like double, sometimes triples of things. So I'm gonna keep one and declutter the other. Physicians Formula Bronzer Blush. I'm not crazy about the layout of this solely because I feel like it's kind of difficult to get everything that's in here, but I actually have this that they also gifted to us. This is the Dream Team face palette, and I really like this one. I dip into the matte a lot. Let me try this though so I can give you guys a good idea of this. I feel like I need to use more drugstore stuff. I have been wanting to use more drugstore stuff, so this is my opportunity to do so. I'm keeping both of these, by the way. I just got these at the end of September. Okay, this Anastasia cream bronzer in the shade Amber, it's so good. Again, I really like this one. This to me is very similar to the MAC Give Me Sun, but in a cream bronzer form. I have this tiny NARS Laguna bronzing powder. I kept this one, and I think I decluttered my NARS Laguna. I think I had said like, oh, I won't need the full size one, and I was correct because I still haven't dipped into this one. I'm gonna take it out of the box so I actually use it. Benefit Hoola Caramel. Again, this is gonna be sort of like a warmer bronzer, and this works so much better for me than the regular Laguna. I find this one just works and meshes with my skin tone better. Laguna, the original, just gets really muddy on me. I have some more powder bronzers. If you guys know me, you know that I have yet to find my perfect bronzer. For some reason, they always look muddy. They always look patchy and skip on my skin. I think it's a skin thing. I'm not quite sure, but these are the bronzers that I think that I've been able to kind of make work for me. Urban Decay Beached Bronzer. Do they sell this still? I feel like they don't. I actually really like this bronzer. I think something that I had learned very recently is with bronzers, I need to go lighter than I think I do. I'm gonna keep this one because I actually think this looks fairly good on my skin. If you haven't tried the L'Oreal Infallible bronzers, these are incredible. This is in the shade Medium, and for a medium shade, I think that this actually works really well, and it's not super muddy on me either. I hate the bulky packaging. I feel like they could have definitely gotten rid of this, and I don't necessarily feel like we need a mirror because I don't know many people who are touching up their bronzers when they're out and about, but I don't know, maybe some people use it. But this is a great drugstore bronzer. And then the Sigma bronzer in the shade Medium. Again, this is gonna be kind of that case where I'm like, I think I need to go lighter. They sent this one in PR alongside the darker one, and I'm somewhere in between, but the darker one is way too dark for me. I think that come January, February time, this is actually going to be a very beautiful natural bronzer on me. These Kaja trios, these complexion trios, holy moly, they are so good, so good. This is number 2 and number 2.5. As you can see, I have kind of demolished. It's so good. This is the most beautiful cream bronzer. It's super blendable. It's very pigmented, so be careful. I like keep this in the bronzer section because I use mainly the bronzer in this. This also has a beautiful highlighter, a beautiful blush, but truly I am like a bronzer queen when it comes to these bentos. And then I have 2.5 too, which I think matches me really well in the summer. This is probably one of the darker bronzers that I keep on hand because this one actually blends seamlessly and doesn't look muddy on me. More Salt New York because Kiki is incredible and is so generous. This is the highlight, okay? Can we look at this highlight? It's beautiful. It's kind of like that taupey gold. And I feel like I don't have a lot of highlights, at least that I'm keeping, that look exactly like this. It definitely is that warm gold, but as you can see, it kind of has enough brown in it to where it just looks natural. Look, I have another Physicians Formula one. Is this the same exact thing? Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, that's perfect. I'll keep the one not in a box, and then I will declutter this one. Okay, these I think need to go. These are great, don't get me wrong. These I actually really liked. Oh, actually, you know what? The Tarte one is newer than the Flower Beauty ones. I love these. I was a huge fan, obviously. I'm almost done with this contour, but somewhere along the line, I felt like this just got a little splotchy on me, and it's also kind of dried out. I don't really want to squeeze out more product. The highlight, so good. This opal highlight, you know what? I kind of love it. I kind of love it. I was really excited about this actually, the warm bronze from Tarte. I think I will keep this liquid bronzer. I am going to go ahead and declutter this because, like I said, I loved this. It did its job, but I think it's past the time because I just never reach for it. This one TBD, okay? Let me decide in a second. I have my Persona multi-stick in the shade Dune. I love the Persona multi-sticks. You guys will see with my blushes. These are incredible, super pigmented, very blendable. I've heard these compared to the Rhode blushes, which are blushes that I do not own, because I was like, well, I have these and I love these, so I'm gonna keep this one. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of any of my Persona multi-sticks, spoiler alert. I have this Well People highlight. It's a beautiful highlight, but again, I just never reach for this, so I'm gonna declutter that. These little baby Rare Beauty highlighters, let me just make sure that these still smell good, and if they do, I'm gonna keep them because I like having the minis. I went ahead and I decluttered like all of my full-sized one of these. These smell fine, so I'm gonna keep these two little babies. Again, this is something that I feel like, you know, if you do this for a job, it kind of makes sense that you have these. The Juvia's Place bronzer powder duo in the shade Tan. This actually is a very beautiful one that I like having on hand because you have the two different bronzer depths, and these are nice and buttery. I think I want to actually dip into those more. This right here, the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Amber Suede. I got this because I was seeing videos and I was like, wait, this might be the perfect contour for me. But the more I used it, the more I was like, it's just gray. It's just gray on me, and not in the way that you can blend it and it looks like a shadow gray. Like, this starts looking really unnatural on me, so I'm going to declutter that. You guys will probably think I'm insane, but the Rare Beauty bronzer in Happy Soul I think is a little too pigmented. I do. I think it's too pigmented, and I think that it's not as blendable as I need it to be when I need it to be. Sometimes this is a hit and sometimes it's a miss, but I stocked this product for so long because it was sold out for so long that I'm not going to declutter it because I am afraid that I'm going to want it again. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give this another try. I'm going to play around with it and see how I feel. Here's a Physicians Formula product. This is an eyeshadow palette. I didn't know I had this. I'm going to go ahead and pass this along. Elf Putty Bronzers. These are great. Golden Days and Sun Chaser. But I think mine are really old. Oh, this is a shimmery version. I don't want the shimmery version. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get much use out of that because it's kind of a gold shimmer. But this one, as you can see, I've gotten a ton of good use out of. I'm going to declutter that sparkly one, and I'm going to keep this matte one. Another one that I really wanted to make work, and I just continue to dip into this one. It's so gross. Please don't zoom into that. There's actual like brush hairs in this. I'm like looking at this and I feel like maybe this is a really good color. What is it about this that doesn't keep it in my everyday? Everything about this is like, I should love it. But for some reason, it always makes it back into the drawers and I just don't reach for it. I'm gonna clean it first and then I'll give it another go. Charlotte Tilbury huge cream bronzer. I really like this cream bronzer actually. This is quite a warm bronzer, but there's something about it. When I want something a little bit more dramatic without it looking muddy, this is the one that I reach for. These Smashbox Halo palettes, so slept on, okay? Can I just say that? that. This is in the shade Back to Cali. They're kind of these desaturated, muted tones. Oh, it's so good. The blushes though, they really remind me of Fenty Bacon Cakes, like that blush, you know? And then the highlight also, super buttery, super beautiful. Can use it as an eyeshadow color. And then we have the shade Pink Saturation. The bronzers look fairly the same. The blushes, I would say, is the most variation. This one right here would be more of an opal highlight, and then this one's more of a gold. I think that I want to keep Back to Cali, this one right here, and get rid of Pink Saturation, just because I feel like I'll get more use out of all of these. Another Persona multi-stick. This is in Sahara. It's going to be a darker bronzer. I have some dibs, and like I said, I wanted to try dibs for so long, and they were super generous when they sent me a package, a PR package. I have 3, 4, and 5.5. The problem is some of these I like the bronzer more than others, and then the other side I like the blushes more. Here are these swatched. So here's the problem. I really like the blush on 4, but I do not like the bronzer. I think it's too warm for me. But I like the bronzer on 3 and 5, but I'm not crazy about this blush. I think I'll go ahead and declutter 4, but I'm going to give 5.5 another shot, and I know that I like 3. 3 overall is a great one. I like that one a lot. For some reason, I had the bright idea that if I got the Kosas concealer in a darker shade, I can use it as a bronzer. But then I realized that I have a lot of cream bronzers and liquid bronzers, and I don't necessarily have to do that. Was this a free gift with purchase? Maybe. That's the only thing that I can think of when I'm like, that would make sense for me to do, right? Sometimes using a darker concealer is nice though for bronzer, because you do get like actual coverage from it. Here is a Rogue highlight, the ColourPop Lunch Money. You know, I didn't get this when it was first like very popular, and it was kind of one of those things where one day I saw it at Ulta and I was like, why don't I have that? And I got this Mango People bronzer stick in the shade Dune. So I had an issue with this when I first got it. It had some questionable markings on it, and Mango People were so nice and they had great customer service. They apologized. They explained to me like sometimes it's just the pigment not getting mixed correctly, and they sent me a new one, and I was so excited. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, why haven't I used this? I think this packaging, this little pill packaging, is so pretty. This actually looks like it would be an incredible lip color, no? I don't know how I feel about this being a bronzer, but as a lip color, that's pretty. But do I need more lip colors? I don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass this one along, and I have the box still, so that's nice. We have this Hourglass bronzer, and I've always kept this. It's the Radiant Bronze Light. This is so pretty. This is such a good bronzer. I actually feel like the tone of this one is really nice for my skin. I'm gonna keep this because I actually feel like this has potential of getting finished. Haus Labs bronzer. So I got this because I, again, was on one of my hunts, one of my kicks to find the perfect bronzer that wasn't muddy and didn't skip on my skin and stuff. Medium level 7, and oh my goodness, the amount of time that I spent trying to figure out what color, just to figure out like this is too dark. It breaks my heart. Looking here, I'm like, it doesn't look too dark when it's swatched. Should I try it again? I do like the beautiful sheen that these have. They're definitely matte, but they have almost this like subtle sheen to them that just make it look really nice on the skin. I'm not ready to give up on this one just yet. I feel like I need to play around with it more and see how I feel. I honestly feel like this one may be user error. Okay, Tower 28 Bronzino in the shade West Coast. I love these so much, but I actually get way more use out of the Sculptino over the Bronzino. This one is quite like goldy bronze, so I think I can go ahead and get rid of this one. Kaleidos. This is the Contour Trio in the shade Medium. I think I'm gonna keep this because I like that it's a compact trio and I have those cool contours without having to have multiple products. So I'm gonna gonna keep this in medium, and then I also have it in tan, but I don't think I need tan. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter tan. Patrick Ta Daddy Highlight. Listen, I love the Patrick Ta blushes. I don't love the highlight. This is not what I wanted it to be. I'm not saying that they mismarketed it. I'm just saying that I had an opportunity. I went in, I swatched them, I got excited about them, and I took it home. And now I'm like, I don't know. But this is gonna be one of those things that I keep because I feel like referencing back to it is important doing this for work. So I'm gonna keep that one. Patrick Ta, she's bronzed. Oh, wait, I have a bronzer? Oh my gosh, I don't have a memory of this, but this looks really pretty, no? That actually looks like it would work really well. Okay, I'm keeping that. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I completely forgot about this. Okay, look at that, you guys, done with bronzers. Okay, this part I'm going to preface and let you guys know that it's really hard for me to get rid of blushes because I love blush and I think that they are incredible and amazing and there's so many fun formulations. I'm not picky when it comes to blush. So I'm telling you right now, we're not going to make a lot of progress on this section. Okay, obviously keeping this is part of that holiday kit. Again, referencing stuff that I recently used and just kind of dumped on top of here. My first Tower 28 Beach Please. This is in the shade Office Hours. Beautiful mauve tone, just gorgeous, especially for this time of year. M Cosmetics Faded Clementine. This is one of the baked blushes. It looks very dull and old. That's because it is very old, but I still use this. It might be one of the reasons why I break out, but it's hard for me to get rid of powders. I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna be so for real with you guys, I got rid of so many foundations and concealers that were old that I feel like now we can kind of eliminate those being the issue. It's okay that I keep older powders and then we can just kind of figure out if I'm still breaking out from cosmetics, then I'll start getting rid of it. My Bare Minerals Kiss of Copper bronzer. These are incredible. Do not get enough hype. They are the best blush bronzer combinations, and this shade in Kiss of Copper is the most beautiful peachy warm tone ever. I have this Iris and Romeo Rosy Glow. They recently sent this one to me, so I'm not going to declutter it. I still want to play around with this and see what I think about it. Milk Makeup's Work. I haven't even opened this. I'm gonna declutter it. Ooh, this Kosas blush. This came in the Trio Holiday Kit. I have the other two shades in my everyday, and this is in the shade Butterflies. This is beautiful. I think this is such a fun shade. Oh, so fun. I'm keeping this obviously because this is newer in my collection. Dior Rosy Glow in the shade Rosewood. I only have two of these. I have this one and Bronze Glow, and Bronze Glow is currently in my everyday. This one I really like, and I honestly, these are expensive, so I don't want to declutter this. I do tap into this once in a while. I'm looking at the color now and I'm like, that's a really pretty color. So I think I might try this out again. I have a couple of Give Beauty blushes. These went 50% off last holiday season. I have Stars Aligned and Crush on You. My friend Lauren May Beauty here, she was like raving about these duos. So I went and I picked them up and they're so good. These colors, these more muted colors are right up my alley. Oh my goodness. They're really incredible. Super buttery. You get a matte and then you get a shimmer. I mean, these are really pretty. I don't think that they give too much product either, which is kind of great when you have a bigger collection. Okay, I got these two Persona Cosmetics Super Blushes in Terracotta and Jam. They sent these, I think, in PR, and they're so pretty. I really want to play with terracotta more now that I'm seeing this. Jam is very bright. I'm not gonna lie. This is a color that I don't necessarily wear often. Oh my gosh, but look how pretty that purpley pink shade is. This is why I get in trouble whenever I do these declutters and I swatch, you guys, because I see it and I'm like, the potential. No, but seriously, I want to keep this on hand so I have at least one like berry blush, one purpley blush to kind of top my cream colors with. So I'm keeping these. Do I want to keep terracotta? Terracotta kind of looks like it's too light for me. Oh, that's a pretty nude color. Keeping okay, some Sigma blushes. These are so slept on. They're so good. I have Corderosa and Sunset Kiss. Sunset Kiss is going to be more of that pinky tone. It's not something that I wear all the time, but Corderosa is gonna be more of that rosy tone. So just so you guys can see it, super beautiful. I mean, these are buttery and ultra pigmented. I think though I'm going to pass along Sunset Kiss because I don't really dip into this one, but Corderosa I'm definitely keeping. I have some Bare Minerals highlighting blushes and regular blushes, I guess. Okay, I guess I only have one highlighting blush. This is in Pink Glow, but I know I have more in my PR drawer. This one is just the one that I pulled out because I wanted to use this as a blush topper. And then I have two Gen Nude blushes. This is in Peachy Keen and this is in Pink Me Up. I really like the Bare Minerals blushes. I feel like they give you really good payoff, like color payoff, and they're not too pigmented, which is sometimes a really great thing. Oh, I love Peachy Keen. Will I actually use Pink Me Up? So here's Peachy Keen, here's Pink Me Up. I think I'll go ahead, declutter Pink Me Up and keep Peachy Keen. This Juvia's Place Serafina blush, incredible, super pigmented. You need a really light hand, but here's the thing again, I don't reach for this and I don't think I will anytime soon. So this is gonna get decluttered. All my Patrick Ta blushes, again, I use these and also for reference, right? So I want to make sure that I keep these. Not Too Much is probably my favorite. It's going to be like that more muted pinky beige. She's Blushing is going to be very similar to Not Too Much, but a little bit more saturated. Just Enough is that really fun bright pink that actually looks pretty good on my skin tone. Oh, you know what? I think I can get rid of this one because I got this one before I got any of those other blushes and I just never reached into this. Also, oh no, is that mold? I don't want to start anything, but do you guys see in that cream there's like black dots? Are those brush hairs? Some of them look like brush hairs, some of them don't. I don't know. I'm a little paranoid these days about creams and Patrick Ta. So this one I already wanted to declutter, but that kind of solidifies my decision. Okay, and then She's the Moment came out with those first two as well. So this is a way better fit for my skin tone. Milani Luminoso, I have this mini one. I'm gonna keep it because I like this shade and I don't want to ever have to buy the big one. We have two of the Patrick Star one size ones. These are the Cheek Clapper Trios in Fat Ass and Very That. This one is definitely my favorite. I don't get much use out of the highlights, I will say that. I'm gonna keep both of them for now though. Okay, I have two of the OG Haus Labs blushes. Again, they're gonna be the bigger ones. I have Hibiscus Haze, which I believe is still in her line, but I'm gonna keep this. I'm pretty sure they had reformulated as well as resized these. I wanna keep it so I don't have to buy another one, and I really like this shade. This is Lavender Blonde. Do you guys remember when this came out? While that Jam shade from Persona is a little bit more red berry, this one is definitely more of a cool tone purple, like a lavender purple. So I'm gonna keep these two. This Kaleidos blush, beautiful, but as you can see, I have not touched it, and I said that I would. I said I would last time and I never did, so this is my notice to this product. It's going. It's gotta go. I got this one when I was in Japan. This is the Peri Paris Sunshine Cheek in the shade 5. It says, "It's okay, you already shine." Stop. That's so cute. That's so cute. And this is such a pretty color. It's definitely right up my alley, that muted tone. Laura Mercier's Chai. I'm pretty sure this is quite old. Like I think that this is a little more pale than it's supposed to be. Is this looking like it's supposed to look? Either way, I'm keeping it. This one is so buttery and pretty, and I feel like Chai is kind of like a staple color. Benefit Shelly. This is my one and only Benefit blush, and I really like this. It's like this warm peachy pink shade and it's beautiful. I hate the packaging, but I do really enjoy this blush. Okay, I'm moving these up here. So another Florisist product, but this one actually is so pretty. This is in a 13 Morning Rays, and it's the perfect size for a blush, if I'm being honest. For my collection, perfect size, beautiful, like rosy tone. We have this Clinique Cheek Pop in the shade Ginger Pop. This is such a beautiful one, but this has got to be almost 7-8 years old by now. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it. But I love these blushes, especially if blushes you find give off too much pigment and they're hard to work with. These would be great because it just deposits a little bit at a time. MAC Peaches blush. This has got to be so old too, but I'm gonna keep that one because I feel like this is just such a good classic color. Milani's Rose Powder Blush in Spiced Rose. Do they still make this? This one also so old, but I don't think I'll wear this. This kind of reminds me of the Bare Minerals bronzer. There is the Milani one, and then here goes the Bare Mineral one. Whoa, they're so similar. The Bare Mineral one I think is a little bit more peachy, and then the Milani one has a little bit more brown to it. So beautiful. So since I'm keeping this one, I'm going to declutter that one. But wow, oh, that's so sticky. The Tau blush. This is a beautiful blush, but gosh, can you guys not? Like, did they stop with the soft touch packaging? Because this is not okay. ColourPop Message Me Pressed Powder Blush. Beautiful. This is kind of like a warm terracotta shade. Wow, I like that. I'm keeping that. Now we are getting into creams and liquids, and this is where I have a problem because I am obsessed with cream and liquid blushes. They are literally my kryptonite. Oh, hold on. I do have a couple powder blushes that I see that I'm keeping. These are newer in my collection. RMS Maiden's Blush, and then this is a bronzer. This is Bikini Beach. I actually wear these very often. I hate how dirty this gets, but I do love this product. And then Maiden's Blush. This is what it's supposed to look like. These are great. And then my Singe Beauty blushes, I got the whole collection from Angelica, and these are so beautiful, buttery. They have like this sheen to them that I love when it comes to blushes because it just looks way more natural on the skin. So keeping all 4 of these. I'm already so sad looking at this and knowing that I'm gonna get rid of stuff. Please give me grace here. Danessa Myricks Cream Blush in Jubilee. I'm not getting rid of that one. This is a great one that I still wear. My Persona Cosmetics multi-sticks, like I said at the beginning, I'm not getting rid of any of these. I think I have the whole collection, or at least the majority of it, so keeping all of those Persona multi-sticks. I can, however, get rid of these. These are the LYS cream blushes. I got these, I think, 2 or 3 holidays ago in a Christmas kit, and I just really never dip into these. I don't know. I think these are good, but they weren't my go-to, so I'm gonna get rid of those. A little Rare Beauty liquid blush in the shade Truth. I'm gonna keep that. All of my Tower 28 Beach Please creams. Oh, look, I had another Bronzino. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. This is like a yellow gold, if you guys can see that. Tower 28's Finest Hour, but this was when it was Dumpling Hour, when it came out with Kung Fu Panda. Keeping this. I love this blush. A red cream blush will change your makeup. I guarantee that. Magic Hour. This is currently in my Project Pan. Keeping that one. I think I'll keep Rush Hour. This is in Golden Hour, and I'm looking at this and it's kind of like speckled. This looks like it might have a little bit of something growing in there. Can you guys see that? Specifically right there. There's like a black blotch, and it's not a brush, like it's not lint or anything like that. So this one I will easily get rid of. Oh my gosh, how fun is this color? I have Happy Hour. I didn't know I had this. I did know, but I forgot I had this. Oh my gosh, this purple in Party Hour when they released this for their birthday. Yeah, keeping. I have a ton of the Rose Ink creams. I don't know what's going on with Rose Ink, but I loved these. I went crazy buying these, and then for some reason I stopped using them, but these are so good. They're definitely thicker creams. Like, you will get a lot of color off of these, and they feel a little bit like goopy, I guess, but they blend into the skin so well, and they're just so good. I'm gonna keep these because I don't know what's going on with Rose Ink. I don't know if they're products I could repurchase if I wanted to, but I have a lot. I have Delphine, I have Daylily, Azalea, Heliotrope, and Foxglove. I was doing for a little while, I think I was mixing Daylily and Azalea together. This color, this like berry tone, ooh, so pretty. It's so pigmented, but again, you can kind of see in that swatch just how thick and creamy these are. So if you're not a big fan of creams because maybe you have oily skin, this would not be the one for you, but I love them. All right, I have these nude stick stacks and I only have 3 of these. I'm keeping them because these are newer in my collection and I actually really like these. I love nude sticks, I really do. All right, so I got these 2 on my trip to Japan. They're 2 Can Make cream blushes. I have 19 and 16. 19 I searched far and wide for. I'm telling you guys, every single store that we walked into had sold out in this one, and I finally found it like the last couple days that we were there. It's just that beautiful nude shade. These kind of feel like powders once you blend it into the skin. They're so nice. This Milani Cheek Kiss in the shade Nude Kiss, I'm actually gonna get rid of. I think that they had sent me a bunch of new ones and this one is old. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's some mold. That's definitely mold. I think that little speck right there is like mold starting to grow. I feel gross, but I know you guys aren't judging me. Maybe. Okay, these It Cosmetic cream blushes, I started getting into the habit this year once I got a label maker to label when I got these, so I know when they might possibly be bad. So this one I got in June. These are so good, so underrated. Oh my gosh, there's so much product in this. When you apply it, it actually feels cooling on the skin, like actually feels like water. They're so pigmented and smooth and they dry down really well, so you don't get super greasy. They're incredible. I have Sun Blossom and Sun Warmth and they're some of my favorite, truly. I'm trying to only swatch the ones that I know I'm keeping so I can like tell you guys about them. You know, I'm trying to be responsible. Okay, I have a bunch of Merit Flush Bombs here, starting with the one I know I'm keeping. This is in the shade Fox. This one is in my Project Pan. Perfect warm tone nudie color. I love this. I bought these and did a whole video like on this collection with the gold casing. I got those. Stockholm is going to be this bright pink shade, which I think is beautiful, but honestly, I don't get much use out of it. I think somebody else in my life will, so I'm going to declutter that one. I have Persimmon or Persimmon. This one is gonna be closer to that Fox one, just a bit deeper, so I'm keeping that one. Terracotta, another really beautiful one, but looks like I never swatched it. Why was that? Did they send this to me? Let's see what this looks like. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. Let me keep this and use it. These are gonna be like from their original collection. This is Cheeky and this is Beverly Hills. So these are good, but they're not like my absolute favorites, you know? So here is Cheeky. It's definitely more of a purpley mauve. And then here is Beverly Hills. If anything, I just kind of want to keep Beverly Hills and I'm going to go ahead and declutter Cheeky, which is interesting because I thought it would go the other way around, but just looking at this and my preference these days, I don't really think I'm going to get much use out of Cheeky. My milk jellies, I'm keeping these. I actually really like these. I think they're such good long wearing stains. I have Splash and Chill. Great stains. They do dry down very fast, so you have to work with them very quickly. I have 2 Phytosurgence blushes, Kindle and Fume. And Fume is really beautiful, but sometimes I feel like Fume can look a little bit like a bruise on my skin tone. I don't know what it is. I think that maybe it's a little bit too cool tone for me. It makes me look a little dead, you know? And I feel like that's not what blush is supposed to do. I think it's a skin tone thing. I don't know. I'm gonna keep Kindle though, because I really like Kindle. And I think I might pass Fume along. This really reminds me of the It Cosmetic blushes, the cream blushes, but these, there's way more colors that I think are even more natural, kind of like lit from within colors. So I really like these. My Kaja Cheeky stamps, I mainly kept these because of the heart stamp. I'm not gonna lie. The actual product is okay, but it's a little bit sheer for my liking. It's like in this cushion, if I can open this. It's in that cushion and then you just stamp it. It takes a little bit more effort than I want, to be quite honest with you guys. So I'm going to declutter this. I love the novelty of these, I truly do. Okay, I took a quick dinner break. So now we are a little bit fresh and we can go into this and kind of try to tackle this. These are palettes that I bought during the holiday a year or two ago, maybe last year. I don't want to declutter these. These are the Pat McGrath Divine Blush and Glow cheek palettes and the Astral Quad palette. This is an eyeshadow quad, actually. I know that like you can find these at TJ Maxx, Marshalls and stuff like that, but for me, I was really excited about these. These feel a little sentimental for me because it was my first time buying myself Pat McGrath palettes. I bought these along with some Mothership palettes and I really like them. I don't know, I felt good about it. So I don't want to get rid of these, so I'm keeping those. Okay, this Freck liquid blush in the shade Big Thrills. Actually a very big fan of these. I think that these are very nice. It's kind of like that creamy liquid kind of moussey texture, and this blends out very well on the skin, and it's another one that dries down well too. Hard Candy came out with these face blushes. They have a doe foot on them. These are pretty good. They are definitely quite sheer though, I will say. They're not going to give you crazy color payoff. It's just going to be like a gel cream that blends out and mainly looks kind of hydrating on the skin. I don't think that I'm going to keep this light pink one. I don't remember if this even like really showed up on my skin, if I'm being quite honest with you. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I kind of just want to hold on to the red. I don't think I'm going to use the purple much. I think I'm just going to hold on to this. Okay, these Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tints are so beautiful. They're highly, highly pigmented in my opinion. They do dry down fairly quickly, so you have to work quick with them. I have 62 and 50.5, and I also have the more berry tone in my everyday makeup, and these are great. I mean, I have no complaints with these. I would recommend putting it on the back of your hand first and then using a brush to pick it up that way, but these are great and they dry down very nicely. Okay, this Lottie London pH stick, I don't know where my black cream one went. I thought that I kept that, but oh, here it is. So these are basically the same thing. This is a stick form, this is a cream, and this is really pretty. It's probably one of the prettiest pH balancing blushes that I have ever seen personally. I did a video kind of showing you guys what this looks like on the skin. It turns into this pinky berry tone that is so wearable actually, and it lasts a very long time on the skin. The stick one definitely looks a little darker, a little bit more berry toned, while the cream one looks a little bit reddish purple. This one says it's in the shade Hybrid, and this says it's in the shade Onyx, so maybe they are different. Either way, these formulations are very nice, but I do believe it's the same formula, maybe a different color. All right, I took my jacket off because these sleeves were just kind of getting in the way. So I have one of these Surratt blushes. It's the Barbe Apapa. It's a liquid blush and it is such a fun pink shade. These are really nice. They are like an air pump, so you got to make sure that you're careful when you're twisting this up because it can kind of like shoot out product, but really beautiful, very subtle blush, I would say. And I got this during a Creators and Friends trip, so I'm going to keep that and keep using that. So the About Face cream in the shade Raunchy. This is the one and only one I have. I really like this formulation. Again, it's going to be slightly more hydrating, and this shade actually looks very natural on the skin. I think it would look so good if you have like a lighter complexion than me and you tend to be a little bit more on the warm side of things. I think that this would just look like a natural flush on you. Bosma Beauty sent me a couple of their cream blushes this year, which I was so grateful for. I got these in July. I have Cherry Red and Burnt Orange. I think that I might have another one. I am really wanting the shade Mauve. I think that one is so pretty, but I know my collection is very large, so I've just talked myself out of it every single time there's a sale, but I'm keeping Cherry Red because I am really on a red blush kick. I think they look so good and natural. And then I love this orange. It's very unique, I think, to my collection. It's going to be that burnt orange, so it's still going to be slightly warm toned and not super like neon. Okay, another Danessa Myricks cream blush. I am kind of collecting these a little quickly. Rosé and Brunch. This is just a beautiful true rose shade. And if you guys haven't heard, these Danessa Myricks blushes are incredible for oily skin because they have Upsolete, which is supposed to help with excess oils, and it does dry down almost to like a powder finish on the skin. Another kind of reddish tone. This is the Fenty Beauty Daiquiri Dip Blush. Okay, these say Glow Sculpts. This is in the shade Peach Glow, and I really want the bronze shade of this. These are beautiful. You could wear this just as a blush, or you can wear it as a blush topper as a highlight. I believe this is mainly marketed as like a highlight because they are super glowy. When I first tried this, I thought it was a blush and I was like, whoa, that is very shiny. And then I realized it, but on the skin and in pictures and videos, oh my gosh, this is so good. This Fenty duo in Peony Dropper and Molly Booze. I got this and I was so excited for it, and I just never really used it, if I'm being honest. This shade I think is so beautiful, but this one I don't ever feel the need to reach for. I don't think it's worth it to keep this, especially if it's not getting used, and I have some girlfriends that I know enjoy colors like these, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass this one along. Okay, I have actually a couple of these Makeup by Mario Soft Pop plumping veils. I have Rose Crush, Just Peachy, and Perfect Pink. Honestly, I think I was sort of influenced to get Perfect Pink because everyone was talking about this shade. It is a perfect pink though, I will say. I think my most use is definitely going to be Rose Crush, and even then I don't use this a ton. I remember I was really excited and these became a little bit sentimental for me because Makeup by Mario reposted my reel when I did this, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember reading the comments on their page and someone was like, I love seeing people with acne use your products. And I was like, oh, I just thought that was so funny, and like, I don't know, this just made me really happy. These colors are beautiful. I definitely think I want to hold on to Rose Crush. The other two, even though they are beautiful and I love this like serum-y texture, they're not something that I'm constantly going for. I may use that peach, but I don't think I want the pink. So I'm gonna pass along the pink and I'm gonna keep this peach. If you've never seen these Kaleidos highlighters, you have got to. I don't want to open these up, but I'm keeping all of them just so you know. They're kind of like that duochrome highlight. They are such interesting shades as well, and I love to use these kind of on the eyes as inner corner highlights, and they're so pretty. They are just so good. I'm pretty sure I have all of them as well. Another Salt New York little booklet thing. I showed you guys the foundation version that I have, and these are all of the blushes and like bronzers that I got. Again, I was gifted this earlier this year from Salt New York, from Kiki. I had met her at Creators and Friends in New Orleans, and she was just so incredible. I talked about how the complexion products sort of just made your skin look like perfected skin, and this does pretty much the same thing. Like, it looks like an overall flush to the skin that's coming from the inside. Not getting rid of these, really like these. This bronzer also is such a beautiful natural bronzer. I have these Bloom Effects tints. I have Crispa Coral and Stroopwafel. I don't remember being super like wowed by these. They were good, and I had the intentions to play around with these more, and in the 6-7 months that I had said I would, I didn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass these along. Okay, this Danessa Myricks flush, what is this called? Vision Flush in ballet slippers. This I know is a few years old. Like, it's got to be before 2020. It smells okay, but it makes me a little nervous that I can't see inside of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and dispose of this. These CL Blush and Protects, so good. I have Bahati and Kirsty, and They're incredible. They have mineral SPF to them. They blend in like a super pigmented serum and they dry down so nicely. I'm going to keep both of the ones that I own. I have a couple of Winky Lux products. I have 2 bronzers and then a blush. These were quite expensive and I wanted to compare these to more high-end liquid bronzers and blushes, but honestly I have not reached for these that much. They have like that sponge tip, but I do like the tone of this. It's sort of like that gel cream kind of serum texture, and I think I'll get rid of that darker one right there and I'll just keep the lighter, which is Ibiza, and I'm gonna get rid of Santorini. And this blush is in the shade Queen, and I remember really liking this one actually. Very beautiful, and it does dry down, so I'm keeping these 2. Okay, I have this M Cosmetics stick in the shade Pearl Tea. Beautiful nude beige blush. It's just so good. Very reminiscent to me to the Persona Cosmetics multi-sticks. Ooh, I have this Cali Ray serum blush, the Lip and Cheek Hydrating Soft Stain in the shade Wildflower. They sent this to me this year and I really want to try their liquid blush formula, but I haven't yet. But look how beautiful that is. Wow, I need to use this, huh? One of the Give Beauty Dewy Plump Cheek tints. I have this in the shade Marigolds, but I remember kind of wanting the more purpley shade. I wasn't the biggest fan of this peach shade, if I'm being honest. I love the gel cream texture of it though. Like, how pretty is that texture? It definitely won't be for those that don't like a dewy finish because this definitely stays quite dewy. It almost looks a little bit pinky though, which I'm not mad at. I do want to keep this because I like the formula and I kind of want to keep it for reference in case there are other like gel cream textures that I run into this year. I have a few of the Profusion blushes, and last time I got rid of a couple and I said that I would keep these so I can use them. Lo and behold, I have not used them. But I want to keep this red one because I have a little bit of an idea with like red blushes, if you guys can't tell. I'm gonna keep that one. I think I can get rid of Cosmo, but there's something about Bellini. Bellini's kind of calling to me, so I'm going to get rid of Cosmo and I'm going to keep Bellini. Okay, this is where it gets really tricky because it's my collections and the collector in me is like, no, you can't get rid of those, but I have to. First, I got these in PR this year and they blew my mind. These are so good. The Kaja Dewy Bars, they come in these kind of like deodorant stick form. They're very dewy, so again, if you do not like a dewy cheek, these won't be for you, but I love a dewy cheek. They actually set down really nicely with powder, and quite honestly, I do use every shade of these, so I'm keeping all of these. They're just so good. They're too good to get rid of. I have these Armani blushes, and again, sort of sentimental for me. I got these in PR, and I was like so shocked that Armani Beauty wanted to send me product. So pretty. Kind of like that red tone, kind of corally again. That was number 40. This one is in number 30, a very orange tone, if I do say so myself. Will I get use out of this? Actually, I might declutter this one. Surprisingly, I don't feel like this is one that I'm gonna get much use out of, so I'm gonna declutter that one. 52, I really love this one. Again, it's kind of like that lavender baby pink shade, and I think this is a good topper for like deeper cream blushes. And then we have the shade 51, which is probably the most used one that I have from the collection. All right, the Rare Beauty blushes. These are the powder blushes that are kind of like highlights. I'm not gonna get rid of these. These were my first PR package from Rare Beauty this year. I was ecstatic. I still have the PR package box too, so I'm keeping this. I think these are so good and they're great toppers, but you can also wear them alone. I'm gonna force myself to get rid of some of these. Starting with this shade, I've never actually reached for this. This is Barbie Rose. Such a beautiful, fun color. These are incredibly pigmented, by the way. They're Juvia's Place. So incredibly pigmented, high coverage and pigmentation. Very similar to the Rare Beauty ones, except this one holds more of that opaque pigment versus the Rare Beauty. So you have to go in with such a small amount, but I think I'll keep Coral Rose because that's an interesting color to me. And then we have Lily Love. I searched for this one because I saw someone use it as like a monochrome color and I was like, oh yeah, I need that. This shade in Marigold, I don't know. I actually really love this one in Rosy Posy. It looks so good on the skin. I don't think it looks ashy or anything. And Soft Tulip is my most used one of the collection. And then we have this fun pink in Peach Rose. I think I'll keep all of those. Even this one, I think I might keep that one. Yeah. A bunch of the e.l.f. Camo liquid blushes here. Pinky Promise, Dusty Rose, and Bronze Bombshell. Here are those shades. I definitely want to keep these as reference points also, and you know, just to compare them to like high-end products. Coral Crush and coming in hot pink. And then we have Suave Mauve and Berry Well. These are my most used. So I think I'm gonna keep those. I don't feel bad about that. I like these, I do. I think they're so good. I'm also going to keep all my Say Dew blushes. These are some of my absolute favorite liquid blushes. They're kind of this gel cream. They blend out so flawlessly. Here are the colors in case you guys want to see them. I use them all the time. The W means water-based, by the way, and they are just the best. These nude sticks, I think that I can let go of actually. I was so excited about these because they have this core right here, but honestly, I kind of feel like the original nude sticks are a little bit better. Actually, that's really pretty. That's Rose Glow. Again, getting myself in trouble here. These are a bit dewier because they have like that core, that hydrating core. And then here's Pink Ice. I think I'll get rid of Pink Ice, but then I'm going to keep these two shades right here. I have these little Rare Beauty blushes. This is in the shade Grace, this tiny little baby one. And then I have Wisdom in a smaller tube right here. I'm gonna keep those. Happy, such a staple liquid blush from Rare Beauty, huh? Actually came with the powder blushes. I remember I switched out some of my old bottles with the new ones that they sent in that PR package. So this one in Happy is a new one. I believe all of the ones that I had that I could switch out, I did switch out. So these are all new. So I'm actually going to keep all of them. I have a Sigma cream blush that I completely forgot about. It's in the shade Nearly Wild. I actually have not used Sigma's cream blushes yet, even though I have this here. And now I definitely am. Okay, my bad, you guys. I actually have tried Sigma's cream blushes because I have this one in Cor de Rosa, but honestly, I can't remember how I felt about it. So I'm going to definitely try this. This one is for sure my type of shade, just like the regular blush. I like that I have the powder blush and the cream blush version of this. Lawless had sent over their brand new cream blushes when they first launched. These are actually really nice because they kind of apply like a cream and then they dry down like a powder. I want to say that I want to keep all of the shades just because I want the whole collection. We know we shouldn't do that, right? So here is Gumdrop. Already, I think I can pass along Gumdrop. And Rosebud, I know I like Rosebud. This is, yeah, look at that. I like this one a lot. Such a beautiful muted shade. The shade Cherry Pie, it's a red. And we're keeping that one. Angel, this is kind of like a muted pink shade, similar to Rosebud, but I think this is less rosy toned, and I think this will be a really good base cream blush for when I want to go for more muted cheek. And then we have Valentine, which is a very pretty hot pink shade. And then we have the shade Starburst. And I did label this, by the way. I did get these in June of this year. So here is Starburst, really beautiful. And then I'm going to get rid of Gumdrop and Valentine. All right, lastly, my nude sticks. I love nude sticks, okay? I know that there are a lot of nude sticks haters out there, but personally, I am not one of them. They're definitely a little bit harder of a stick, but I like that because it doesn't overly deposit pigmentation, and it's just so good. So I have just one of these blush tints. This has SPF 30 in it. And this is in the shade Sunset Rose. I really like this one. It's slightly a purple, but for the most part, it's going to be like a warm pinky purple, and it's more sheer than the blush sticks. Okay, I swatched these and I realized that it's going like this way. Hopefully you guys can see all those swatches. So this one is Sunkissed. This is the shade Manila. This is Bohemian Rose. This is Sunset Strip. In the Nude, Picante, Moody Blue, Salty Siren right there, Poppy Girl, and then Brown Sugar Baby. So I definitely see some of these I can get rid of. I would typically get rid of Picante, but that was in collaboration with Alana Davidson, and I love her. I've always loved her channel, and I bought that when it first launched. So I'm going to keep that. I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Bohemian Rose, Moody Blue, and Poppy Girl for sure. And also, one of the downfalls of these, I will say, is that when you close it, the cap kind of like pushes up because the air inside of it doesn't allow it to like fully close. Sometimes it'll come up like that. So it's kind of annoying. I mean, you kind of have to twist it and give it a good try. But I do find that for the most part, these do like click closed. I don't know why this one's giving me such a hard time. Yeah, you kind of have to like mess around with it. But even with that like error in packaging, like this one, for instance, I've had for such a long time and it's never dried out on me. I think I'll keep the rest of these. Yeah, I think I will. You guys, we did it. We finished this section. So here is my box. It is overflowing now with product. I will show you guys what this looks like. I'm gonna like dump it all on my floor and show you guys what it is looking like, but I'm pretty proud. I'm pretty proud. I think that has been the best I've done yet with all my blushes, bronzers, and highlights. So now I'm gonna go ahead and reorganize this. I'm gonna try to get this on camera, but I know my big head is gonna get in the way, but I'm gonna try to organize now and I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end. Guys, here is our finished drawer. This looks so much better. So I decided to switch out this bigger tray that used to hold the bronzers and put most of my cream blushes and like stick blushes and stuff like that in here, since I do have the most amount of blushes out of the different categories that we have in here. And then I switched my bronzers in here. I actually kept more bronzers than I thought I had, so I'm definitely going to try to pare this down as I go. I think some of these are a little questionable, like for instance the Fenty one. I did mention I want to try it out and see like how it fares now with my makeup preferences, but I do want to kind of figure that out. The highlighters, plenty of room here. I'm very happy with that. And then, like I said, cream blushes, stick blushes, all those things. And then we have our powder blushes here, which I did not keep a ton. I kept this, and then I have that little section right there. Back there are the Rare Beauty blushes and the Kaleidos highlights, and then I have my liquid blushes over here. So we did a great job. I think that we did an awesome job. I will show you guys all of the things that we are decluttering here so you can see. Again, I do have a couple things like these old collection items that I am keeping, but I'm not keeping them in here because I want to kind of like put them in a memory box type of thing. Okay, that is that one done. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think we did so good.